What is up, RotoGrinders? Dean here. Dean78904. That is the daily fantasy handle. Hopefully he's taking something down tonight on the old Fanduel, on the DK. Lots going on DFS-wise. Ooh, Jeremy Pena was just scratched coming across. And so was Jonathan India if you're playing Cincinnati. And I happen to have been to India's stolen base today against Thor. So good job for your boy. What's up, everybody out there? What's up, chat? Kindly hit that like button. Do subscribe. Do turn on those notifications. The start of 2+ hours of MLB DFS content, taking y'all all the way up through lock, going down tonight, 7:05 on the East Coast. Crunch time, you got Kevin Roth, Chief Meteorologist, Dave Potts, and SquirrelPatrol here with me today. The booth, 3-man booth, not messing around. It's batting first, from such things as NASCAR and F1 and the morning grind. It's Stevie. And Stevie, I saw on the old Twitter machine, you got yourself a new title. Tell the people, congratulations. Tell the people what's going on here. What's brewing up. But what are we doing in addition to? Like I assumed you were the top NASCAR guy, but now I guess F1 is under that umbrella. Enlighten the people. What are you doing here?
I mean, nothing's changing with NASCAR. I'll still be running all the NASCAR stuff, but just adding some F1, some IndyCar, some other, potential motorsports stuff to pretty much betting and premium content. NASCAR is going to stay by itself, but I'll be helping out with F1 premium stuff and providing some betting content for scores and odds for some other motorsports as well, as NASCAR, as I've been doing all year.
Sweet. So basically I got more stuff to tail. If you put more picks out there on scores and odds, I got more things to basically just whatever you play, I'm going to play with you as long as I'm out here in Colorado.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. The Astros, Chop, your Astros. Head Chopper, fresh off a nap, which, by the way, I'm jealous. How long was your nap, out of curiosity? Because I'm at Grant still. He just told me, he's like, I'm going to go sneak in a nap. I'm like, oh, man, I'm jealous. How long are we coming off here? Power nap, like 45 minutes, couple hours? What'd you knock out there, Chopper?
Whoa. I was just catching up on some basketball news, Dean, before the show. I was reading a little magazine right here. Anyway, it was about 45 minutes or so. A little nap, just a quick one. Just a quick little nap, Dean.
Chop, I feel like, is there something on your face? What just happened?
What happened?
I don't know. I mean,
I've been growing this out for the weekend.
You take some performance enhancers, some growth hormones or something?
Getting ready for the show, Dean. You know how it goes. It's almost November, man. I gotta get something going, man.
This is amazing, Chop. Well done.
Thinking about dying in gray just to spite you.
Yeah, I see. What's up, chat there? I see Jason in chat says, wait, what happened? I missed a few days of shows, and all of a sudden Dean has a dark mustache. Yeah, I don't know what happened either. Just overnight, out of nowhere, it's like, oh, you know what? Let's throw some color in there. And I got a little performance enhancer. And we were talking about a pre-show, and it's got to go. It's going to go soon, but I feel like I'm not wanting to let it go now. Like it started as a bit and like a joke, but now I don't know. It's like a Stockholm syndrome on my face or something? I'm being held hostage by the stash, but this is where we're at. Stevie, who wore it better, myself or Chopper?
Oh, Chops looks way better.
It really does.
It really does. That's what's kind of sad. You've been growing that thing out for like 3 months. Chop did that in 5 minutes, and he still looks better than you.
That is amazing. It looks legit too, kind of, sort of.
I can't stop looking at it.
Sometimes I won't watch the video for like 20 minutes or so, but I happen to flick it on, and I'm like, oh, well, there you go. Look at Chopper taking me back. He said he has to do something to get prepared before the show, and I guess that's what it was. He had to go, again, take a shot somewhere and get some instant hormones, whatever it was. But yeah, Chop, I appreciate it. I think it's pretty solid.
Yeah, I had to bypass all my research for the slate to get ready for the mustache bit, but that's okay. People don't mind.
I think it's worth it. We're going to get plenty of research and plenty of content as far as the slates and whatever. Just pull up the VVP page, Chop, and you're good to go, right?
I need to look at that today. I need my BVP plays. That nap ruined me. That nap ruined me, Dean.
Oh man, you didn't even say how long the nap was.
It was you know what? I can check my Aura ring. I believe it was 52 minutes though total.
Okay. Fair enough. Are the kids back to school now or not? It depends on where you're in the country, right?
No, ours are not back to school yet, so they're still lurking.
Okay. I know my nephews just went back to school today in South Carolina. How about yourself, Stevie? Are the kids back to school or no?
Today.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
So I'm really jealous of that nap because it was early morning.
Yeah, we can all use a nap at any point. All right. Hey, tonight's slate. Let's talk about it. By the way, Chop, I'm as excited you are about the mustache. I'm excited about Better Call Saul finale. Like that's,
Ooh.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to talk in spoilers and all that kind of stuff, but on a scale of 1 to 10, I've not been this excited about a TV show, like an episode of a TV show. Like I can't remember how long. I guess the Breaking Bad finale, but I'm gonna watch it live off Twitter. You know, got to go dark and all that. I'm assuming you're a fan, right? You're on board, right?
I am a huge fan, but I think I'm going to save it for tomorrow night.
Oh, dude, you're just asking. Kirk Dees is going to ruin it. Don't talk to him. He's salivating at the thought of spoiling this.
No, nobody. First of all, I got it totally. All the words you can possibly throw out there for Better Call Saul. I got muted on Twitter, so I should be okay there. I prefer to watch it on the app the day after is nice. Maybe I'll watch it late night tonight. I will stay up late tonight now that I took the nap, so maybe I'll knock it out then.
But Kirk actually likes Chop. I don't think he'd ruin it for him. He doesn't like you, Dean. That's why he ruins it for you. He
ruins it for everybody because Kirk doesn't really live in a society. He gets off. It's a weird thing. He enjoys ruining. It's I don't know what kind of pleasure that is, but like he enjoys ruining movies and TV shows for other people. Like there's a window. There's a statute of limitations. And they're still open. We live in a society. He'll just pounce within like 2 minutes and just let the people know. Kirkwood says, "Stop the slander." He's gonna ruin it. Like mute Kirkwood tonight on Twitter. But he ruined Barry. He says, "What have I ruined?" He ruined Barry instantly. I don't know if you guys watched that show, but yeah, it's just something he enjoys. We all have our thing, and I guess that's his thing, I suppose.
If you don't watch it live, it's your own fault.
No.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Everything.
Yeah.
Oh, come on. Stop it.
I mean, there's easy ways that you could distance yourself from any kind of news like that. Like, turn your cell phone off. Don't go on the computer. But if you don't watch it live and it gets spoiled for you, then it's your own fault. So he didn't ruin Barry. You just didn't watch it fast.
No, I watched it. I'm just upset on behalf of other people that didn't because I am.
Well, then it's their own fault.
Considerate person.
Like Chop's gonna watch it tomorrow. He's not gonna talk to anybody. He doesn't care. He's not gonna let it get ruined. He's gonna go groom his good-looking mustache and
if you ruin it for me, that means you went out of your way to ruin it, and which is just terrible as a person.
That's a block, right? That's for an indefinite block. If someone does that to you, Chopper, you're done.
Maybe a block. Maybe I might. What does Kirk Dees like to do? He likes to swat people. I might have somebody swatted if they ruin Better Call Saul for me.
That is a terrible thing to do.
Do you watch the Super Bowl the next day and go on Twitter or something?
It's just a different element.
It's not. Why is it different?
Because sports is all about live. It's the last thing people watch live. That's why sports, commercials for sports cost so much money still. But nobody's watching How I Met Your Mother or whatever. Whatever the modern day version of that is.
That was a terrible reference because that shows like a year old or like 10 years old. So I mean, so I watch Big Brother. We always wait 20 minutes and fast forward through the commercials, but we watch it live. I don't watch my Twitter feed, but I like to tweet about it afterwards. So if you're not, if you're not watching it live, it's your own fault.
I disagree. I think we live in a society and there's a certain window, and the window is greater than a minute. Let me live my life a little bit. And if I happen to want to watch the show later on in the evening or, the next day, I should be able to do that without.
And don't go on Twitter or social media.
All right. Does Kirkwood have a cousin? Is Kirkwood's cousin Kyle Kirkwood? Is that a chop fact or is that a real fact? Is that an F1 racer?
No, I don't think they're actually cousins, but he is an IndyCar racer.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not aware of him, but I'm happy to wager on that person if there happens to be an edge that day. The slate tonight, 10 gamer. It's actually really good, really good pitchers. The hitting, I don't know, Stevie. The last I checked, not one team is a team total above 5. There's a lot of good hitting teams, but none are in a great spot. They're all sort of fine. No Altuve, by the way, and that Houston lineup got worse. No Altuve and no Pena. So their Dubon is leading off, and then Gurriel, geez, don't even get me started. Dubon and Gurriel, and then they have good hitters after that. Yordan Alvarez, Bregman, Tucker, Diaz, Mancini, Myers, Maldonado. We also got George Springer back for Toronto. No team total above 5, I don't think, right? Everything's hovering around 5. Yankees at 4.3, which seems kind of low. Yarbrough is not particularly great either. But, yeah, let me get your thought here, Stevie, as far as the screenshot. Really good stud pitchers, some good offenses, but none like incredibly positioned. How are you handling this slate?
Great pitching. I mean, not only is there great pitching, there's some mid-tier options. There's ways to get different at pitching today. I mean, yeah, there's no team totals over 5, but I think there's a few spots where, offenses are in really great spots that you can kind of take advantage of. The Houston lineup was kind of disappointing because, I mean, they were a stack that looked pretty good today. But, yeah, I mean, I feel like there's 4 or 5 really good teams to target, and there's like 5 to 7 pitchers, and that's always a fun slate. We're going to see really high ownership on Cole, and I mean, this is a fantastic spot for him. It might be a don't overthink it spot, but I mean, there's other pitchers that have similar type of ceiling as Garrett Cole today.
Chop, look straight ahead. I'm trying to take a screenshot of you. You're looking off to the side. I wanted to take a picture and throw it up on Twitter, let the people know what's going on. I was kind of surprised, by the way, pulling up Derek Carty's The Bat. Help support Derek Carty. The Blitz is also available, too, for purchase for football right around the corner. I was surprised how much Cole was ahead of everybody else. I wasn't surprised he was ahead, but surprised how the distance, Otani or Chopper Otani is throwing baseballs tonight as well. Castillo on the other side. Strider, of course, is a big upside given the day. Maybe this is just me, Chop, but I was surprised how far ahead Cole is ranked above Otani, Luis Castillo, Strider. Cobb actually is an awesome price on DK as an SP2. Well, what's your assessment here, Chopper?
Not really surprised. He's just always going to project better than everybody else when he pitches. So I get it. And, because of that, I'll have to adjust the way I play because of that. If he's going to be that highly owned, like we're having him, and that highly projected, I think I can go elsewhere because I think starting pitching is deep. I think team hitting is deep. Stacks are deep. Individual hitting is deep. So, like I mentioned it on the survey when I did it earlier today, which is, I'll take all that into consideration when I'm looking at the ownership and doing a lineup, making my lineups because, I can fade a lot more chalk on a slate like this.
Yeah, I agree. We'll talk, pitchers first and hitters, but I agree that team hitting is deep because there's like 7 teams that are all kind of sort of the same to me. Is that something? I know, Chop, you're one of those people. You're kind of like me where you don't necessarily force. Like some people just like the rule is the rule. I'm going to play 5 guys in a stack on DK. I'm going to play 4 guys in a stack on Fanduel. I'm going to run 4-4, and that's that. That's the way I do it. Correlation, yada yada. But to me, this feels like a day where I'm willing to go 3-3-1-1. Is that something that you're open to today? I presume it is.
I am absolutely. I'd be surprised if I ended up with a 4-man stack today. I know that's sacrilegious amongst a lot of the baseball purists out there, but I think I'd be surprised if I ended with a 4-man stack. I think it'll all be kind of 3-3, 3-2-2, whatever, something along those lines. There's a lot of good spots tonight.
You feel the same way, Stevie, or no? Are you just like you got your 4-4, you got your 5-3, and that's that?
I built 3 teams like I normally do, and one of them is like a game stack of that Baltimore-Toronto game where it's like a 5-3. But looking at the other 2 teams, it's kind of a mix of I think there was a 4-3 and I think there was a 3-3. So I'm kind of with you guys today. I think there's a lot of individual spots that could go off in certain games. But I also think there's a couple teams that could go off that we'll talk about as we're getting going here. And Dean, how dare you ruin it for everybody that's not watching this live and that's going to watch it later with the photo on Twitter? Like, I thought you just said if you're not watching it live, you can go back and rewatch something. How dare you ruin it?
We appreciate everybody that watches the show. We appreciate everybody that hits like and subscribe and all that. But I cannot imagine who's watching this show 4 hours from now. This content expires really, really quickly.
Well, anybody that's watching it 4 hours from now to kind of go back and rethink our thoughts, it's ruined for them. Good job, Dean.
Well, I mean, the spoiler is what? Chops wearing a stash? That's a spoiler?
I mean, I see sevens. Dean's off his rocker. This is sevens.
I thought the people would want to see, what's going on, and we can use that picture going forward for sure. And then multiple facets and multiple tweets. I just wanted it saved in my, in my photos. That's pretty solid. Grant.
Oh, so you had to tweet it?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you got to.
I mean, it's happening live though. What if people are not watching?
Well, now that's going to bring them over. It's like 3 more people just said, "Wait a second, Chop's wearing a mustache. Let's jump on the show. Let's see what's going on."
I mean, what about people that are going to come later? You just ruined it for everybody. Maybe someone's driving home from work.
I did tell some friends, you guys, when you get home, start the show from the beginning. Don't just pick it up in the middle. Start it from the beginning. There's a surprise for you. Now you just ruined it for them, Dean.
Why would they not start the show from the beginning as is?
Perhaps they're at work. Some people work, Dean.
Yeah,
actual jobs, like real jobs, man.
Now they're on Twitter and they saw it and they're disappointed.
Does Stevie have a real job? He's got a real title. I mean, I don't. You're talking to me. You're talking to Stevie. You're talking to all of us for working at home. Like he's got a legit title now.
Did you see how fast he tried to change the subject, Chop? Look at this man. Okay. He knows he's wrong, and if you're not watching something live, you can't ruin it. There you go. He proved our point. And really quick, speaking about liking YouTube, we get 100 likes. I'll give away a NASCAR premium package to someone in chat.
Boom.
Oh,
there you go.
What 1 week?
1 week. We'll give away a week. We did it on the 6-pack. I filled in for beer today. Filled in for him all week. Go over there and like this on YouTube. Say hello. Come and chat. Hang out, and I'll pick someone at random to give a week NASCAR package to.
Does that have more value or less value than like TJ's Spidey bombs?
I mean, we've had 7 people win over $100,000 this year, so
Ooh.
I don't know.
Chop, you play NASCAR much or not?
I do not get into it have to be the right time. Everything's so cyclical for me. Like there are times for NASCAR for me. Right about now, we're starting to get into like closer to football season. So my mind gets, there are times for golf. I'll play the golf, but once that last major hits, boom, I'm out. It's just one of those things. I have a short attention span these days, but yeah, there's a time for a NASCAR. So
Daytona, baby.
Yeah.
Everybody plays in Daytona.
Is Daytona, that's usually the start of the NFL season, right? Am I wrong to say that?
Daytona is the end of this month and in February. February is when DK does, they did $1 million to first this year at Daytona. So everybody plays.
There you go. By the way, you mentioned golf, Chop. Shout out to Noto. Noto did it again. He picked the outright winner. I don't know anything about golf. I had some free bets. I had the winner of like 25 to 1 or something like that. I don't know what the story is with him. They compare him to Happy Gilmore. Do you know anything about this, Chopper? Like the guy who won this Will something with a Z?
Zalatoris.
What's it? Is he a Billy Madison type?
I don't know enough about him, Dean. Okay, I really couldn't tell you. I don't know.
I saw Adam Sandler congratulate him, and like people have made references to. Is he kind of a hothead on the course? Did he punch Bob Barker in the face at some point? I have no clue. But yeah, Noto has picked the outright winner in scores and odds, maybe 3 of the last 5 or 6 weeks, something like that. That's hard to do. Like we're talking 20, 25 to 1, 30 to 1, that kind of stuff. So shout out to Notorious. Check out scoresandodds.com for all your gambling needs as well. Yeah, Chop, are you in on that or no?
I was not in on that, Dean. I haven't played much golf since the last major, so I was not in on that.
Okay, so is this for real? Was Zalatoris the caddy in Happy Gilmore? Is that actually true?
Dean, I'm thinking they're saying he looks like the caddy. There's no way Zalatoris was old enough to be in Happy Gilmore.
No, yeah, Happy Gilmore is like 95 or something like that, maybe even earlier. So yeah, we're talking about no, that's not possible. Yeah, that's not. But I guess he looks like him. I don't know. Couldn't tell you, but I did see he won, and he made it tricky as well. It was in a playoff, sudden death, and yeah, that was a nice little sweat. And shout out to Notorious. He knows his golf for sure. The golf team really solid here. STL Cards also contributes, others do as well. Hey, I got the ownership stuff up here. Oh, by the way, I should mention You know the Beat Mean Bean contest we have? You guys aware of that?
No. What's that?
You've never heard me talk about it, or you're just kind of pandering to me?
I'm totally just messing with you. But
I lost. I took the L.
That's not hard.
Well, I mean, I was 1 for 4. It's fine. Shout out to Darren Beefcake39 on RotoGrinders. Won himself.
Lip got you. Lip beat you.
No. I've been dodging Lip. According to Lip, I've been dodging him. I'm afraid of his Oakland stack. I Beefcake39 took me down on Friday. We're running back again this week. It'll be a month free of RotoGrinders Premium, all the sports, everything with the exception of NASCAR, which of course is a la carte, but you'll get football stuff as well, obviously. So that'll be good times. We'll be running that again. But yeah, just want to say I was officially dethroned. Just put it out to the people, and we'll be running back. Stay tuned to my Twitter. We'll be putting a tweet out probably Wednesday or something like that. There's a picture on the screen. What is going on? Producer Steve is having too much fun. But I said before, I've lost thousands upon thousands of head-to-heads. It's not that hard. It's happened before. It'll happen again. Let's talk about ownership as far as this slate tonight. Of course, on DK, you can go double barrel. It's not hard to go double barrel, as has been the case for a while now. Cole is just too cheap at 10-1. Castillo is too cheap at 9-2. Otani 10-3 is too cheap. And then Cobb is 7K. And those are my 4 main pitchers. And we'll talk about Strider as well, too, who we've seen him flash incredible upside. Was scuffled last time out, I think, against these very same Mets. But again, this is a guy who can strike out 10, 11, 12 on the right night. Chop ownership-wise on DK, Cole is 52%, as he should be. Great matchup against Tampa. Kind of average from hitting, but actually striking out. They strike out a good bit. 6% in the league. Sixth worst. 6th highest, however you want to look at it, as far as striking out versus righties. And, of course, Cole, 3rd highest K rate on the slate. Behind Otani and Strider. 52% for him, and then 26% for Castillo against the Angels. Obviously, that's a positive matchup. They've let him go a ton as well. Otani at 21, Strider 18, Cobb 16. We'll talk about some other guys too if you want to, but that's basically the core of my pitchers. What say you, Chop?
Yeah, I'd say the elite core being Cole, Castillo, and Shohei. Okay, so you got those 3, and then there's the big drop off, and then you get some secondary guys. Then there's about 7 guys I kind of really like after that, and they're good. They're obviously not elite, but so you got the big 3. I'm thinking with that kind of ownership, I'll probably be underweight on Garrett Cole, just for me in general. Like, that's a big number to throw out there, 50%, and he'll be pretty highly owned on FanDuel also, where there's only 1 pitcher, so I can be underweight on that. Don't want to completely take him out of the player pool and fade him, because he can put up a big performance. But the likelihood he puts up something you just can't contend with in GPPs, like that was just too good of a performance, is about the same as the likelihood that he totally disappoints you and gets run out of there after 5 innings and he's got 6 Ks in 5 innings, but man, he gave up 3 or 4 runs, and that's just not going to cut it for that salary kind of a thing. So I think he falls somewhere in the middle, and so I'll be underweight on Garrett Cole, but a big 3: Cole, Castillo, Otani, whatever you say, however you pronounce it.
Well, I try to pronounce how his name's pronounced. I mean, it's just like anything else.
Otani.
I don't think that's it.
Run it, give it to me one time so I'll have it for the rest of the show.
Shohei Otani. Wait, no, now I'm saying.
Oh, Dean, that sounds like what I said.
Shohei Otani.
Otani. Okay, Otani. Big 3. And then I think there's about 7 guys I can make a legit case for being in your pool tonight.
Wait, what? I didn't ask you. What are you running? I didn't typically play most of your stuff on FanDuel.
FanDuel 150. And just to throw this out there, Dean, in case you want to segue real quick, got to have one lineup so I could do the $50 RotoGrinders single entry series starting this week, $50 price point.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, because we got to shout it out to the people. Single entry series continues. We've already had. Well, here you go. We'll give the shout outs to those that have already won themselves a trip to Chicago. All expenses paid. Trip to Chicago, September 9th. You got a shot at $10,000 up top, $50,000 total prize pool. This is all added value on top. It's a standard single entry as is, but we know your top 4 scores throughout the week. And hey, we're all starting at 0. Get that the Men in Black mind eraser thing. We're all at 0. They get the Etch-a-Sketch, whatever adjective you want to use. Top 4 scores from now until Sunday. 3 get thrown out, 4 count, assuming you play every single day. Whoever finishes first, you get yourself a free trip to Chicago, win $10,000. We got Juice Man has already took it down, so congrats to Juice Man. Bad Bill 65. Bad Bill 65. Congrats to Bad Bill. Brew City Empire won himself. I shouldn't say himself. This person won a trip to Chicago. And then there's Spartan's Glory. It's not just the $50 today, Chop. I know you can't play it. I presume, Stevie. I know I can't play it. The $1 is also going down this week. So it's $1 and $50. 2 different contests, 2 different leaderboards. Get yourself first place. Win a trip to Chicago. I'm in that as well. What are you playing today, Stevie? I know you typically make your 3 lineups, and that's what we're sticking to. Is it DK? Is it Fanduel? Is it both?
Mostly DK today. 3 entry max stuff, and then I spread them out through like some single entry stuff as well. But yeah, I mean it's my sweet spot with baseball nowadays.
Yeah, I like that 250 contest I'm in tonight on DK as well. What's your strategy here as far as pitchers, Stevie? Because big time ownership on Cole on DK, 52%. And I should mention, I'm just gonna Chop kind of mentioned the double the field essentially on Fanduel at 35%, which seems maybe a little bit much. He's just, more than Otani, obviously 1K more than Otani. Luis Castillo more than Cole. And we have him at 11%. I wouldn't be surprised if it's even less than that, just because he's the most expensive pitcher on the slate. But Cole at 35, Otani at 17, Luis Castillo at 11, Gray and Strider at 6 or 5. And Strider's another guy, probably shouldn't be 5 or 6% in large field tournaments where there's a nice prize up top. Cobb not as appealing on Fanduel, in my opinion, at 9.3K, but on DK he certainly is. How are you handling this here, Stevie, on DK? You're running out 3 lineups. Cole 52%, Castillo, Otani in the 20s. Where are you at?
I have Cole on one of 3 teams. I don't want to fully fade him, but I feel like at his massive ownership, I'll just be underweight. And if he has a good game, he has a good game. I'm going to fade Otani tonight. I think Seattle is much better than people give them credit for just in general. So I really like Luis Castillo. I think, I have him on all 3 teams that I built. I think this is an excellent spot for him. The Angels lineup stinks. But Urias is someone that I really like that I don't think anybody is going to play today. Nope. Him and Carrasco, but we'll start with Urias. Milwaukee's a good lineup. It's a tough lineup, but they strike out a ton against left-handed pitching. If we get that projected lineup, they're going to throw a lot of righties in there, which is fine for Urias. And he's not someone that typically walks a lot of people, and they've been letting him go, 6 or 7 innings. It's not a pitch count thing with him anymore. So I don't think anyone's going to play him. I think the ceiling is just as high as these other guys at a lot less ownership. And I mean, Carlos Carrasco, the other guy that I really like today, that I don't think anybody's going to play because he's facing the Braves. Yeah, I mean, the Braves, they're scary, but they also strike out 27% of the time against right-handed pitching. And if we're playing tournaments, which I don't play cash games, so I'm searching for that ceiling to pivot off of Cole and Otani. And I think all 3 of those guys have that similar type of ceiling today.
We got, Carrasco on DK at 3%. Man, that is low. And Urias less than 10, about 9%. And like you said, there's good strikeouts in that Milwaukee lineup. There's certainly some power bats as well. Rowdy Tella's in there, left on left, strikes out a good bit, 26%. Adames, 27%. Yelich leading off left on left, 24%. Taylor, you love seeing him at 29%. Collectively 24.3%. Their biggest contact guy is Urias at Urias and Urias Crime, 20%. That's the biggest contact guy in the Milwaukee lineup. I don't hate that if you're running out a bunch of tournaments. I don't know if I can get there in 3 entry max, but I love doing it. I love the idea of it. So that's an interesting separator. Chop, you have thoughts on those 2, Carrasco and Urias?
I like them both. They're in my pool. They're part of that 7-headed monster after elite pitchers that I really like, that I can get behind. So I'm on those 2 guys. Urias is good. The other one's good. You know what? I'll throw out some more names. Dean, can I throw out some more names for you?
Go for it, man.
I want to get sneaky here, Dean. I want to get sneaky. Josiah Gray. I'm going to take some shots on Josiah Gray. He's shown me some upside this year. I know he's a young guy, and he's running into some higher innings now, but I trust him against the Chicago lineup. He's been pretty good. He can strike some guys, like, regardless. His problem hasn't been striking guys out. It's been run prevention. I think he can prevent some runs tonight. Strikeouts are going to be there. When you look at, well, let me see if the Chicago lineup is
walks
out.
and homers is his problem.
Yeah, I think he can prevent some of that tonight because and he can more than make up for what he does give up with. See, look at that lineup. There's 5 guys in there, 30-plus strikeout rate against right-handers.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to have an opportunity to strike some guys out. That's never been his problem. Hey, you just got to control. You just got to keep the ball in the yard. And even if he does give up some homers, just, solo shots will be fine, and he can more than make up for it. So Josiah Gray is a guy I like. And then the other sneaky, this is really sneaky, Glenn Otto. He's been pitching a lot better lately. He's flying under the radar. Now, it's tough to pull the trigger on a Glenn Otto when you've got elite pitchers out there, but this is an elite matchup. So it's a great matchup against Oakland. He's been better lately. I'm going to take some shots on some of these guys like that and mix and match with those elite guys, and hopefully something pays off.
Man, I was really close to betting the ladder on Gray last night for strikeouts against this Cub team. It is interesting. I don't know what the Cubs are doing with their lineup. Like, why is Wisdom 8th? Morel, he was leading off around the season. He's got some power. He's got some speed. I just don't know what the Cubs do. I mean, they're just playing out the string, obviously. Just kind of odd with just looking at their lineup. It's like they just throw all the names in a hat. Like, these are our 9 guys, and we'll see how it pops out. Not a ton of power either. Like, the power that they have is backloaded. 8 and 9. Wisdom and Morel this season have been the big power guys. Haps historically been a pretty good power guy, and Gray most vulnerable to lefty power. 306 ISO. That's really, really troublesome. And obviously he's wild. He walks too many guys, and there are some patient guys up top. I guess I'll give him that, and Wisdom will walk a little bit too. But he's kind of pitching against himself. But I do agree, there's absolutely a ceiling where he can strike out 10 of these guys, and it wouldn't shock me. What do you have, Stevie, as far as Gray?
I took a strikeout prop on Prize Picks this morning. It was at 6. I really like his strikeout upside in this spot. Don't think he's going to make the build for me on 3, but I mean, if I was running anything more than 20 lineups, I would definitely have some Josiah Gray. Dean, you mentioned power, where he struggles with home runs and walks. Well, there's no power in this Cubs lineup outside of maybe Wisdom and Contreras. And then they really don't walk a ton. They have a couple guys like Hap and Contreras, but if you're playing Gray, you're really just kind of hoping he gets around those 2 guys anyway. So, I mean, tournament ceiling wise, Josiah Gray has a 26% K rate. No one's playing him. So why shouldn't we have some exposure to him if we're playing a bunch of teams? The other guy that I want to mention really quick is Joe Ryan. I really like this spot for him today. Great umpire behind the plate for Joe Ryan today. No one really talking about him. We should see him come in around 10%. I think he's a really good mid-tier SP2. Fanduel, we play the studs. There's so many good studs, but as a SP2 on Yahoo or DraftKings, Witt and Perez scare you, but gosh, there's a lot of strikeouts. They traded away some of their low strikeout guys, so I really like this spot for Joe Ryan.
Asking in chat, Danny asking in chat about Otto, how many pitches he gonna throw, or how many innings. I mean, 85 pitches, 5-ish innings. Does that seem reasonable to you, Stevie?
They've let him go into the 90s, I think, twice this year. He's been pitching well. I think if he's pitching well, they probably max him at about 6 innings. So whether it be 85 to 95 pitches, this is a guy that earlier this year hit 99. So I wouldn't be shocked if 6 innings is kind of capped out at 95 pitches.
And this is a DK SP2. You're not playing him on FanDuel, obviously, right?
Yeah, I think that's what Chop was kind of getting at. I don't think he's playing him on FanDuel, but I'm with Chop as far as Otto. I took his strikeout prop this morning. I don't know if it moved as well, but I got it at 4.5 over there on Prize Picks, and I like that, man. This Oakland lineup is just trash.
Yeah. Wash, rinse, repeat. Oakland's awful, obviously. Trying to see if there's anything else of note to talk about.
I mean, I took Seville's prop this morning against Detroit at 4.5, and I think he had 10 strikeouts. So like you play pitchers against these bad offenses and just kind of let the bad offense do their thing.
I was so mad.
I was hoping he was on the main slate.
Oh, I would have played him 100%.
Yeah.
Any righty against Detroit right now it's just like it's just the cheat code. It's ridiculous.
They like faced them last time out with like his wrist injury and only threw like 60-something pitches.
Mm-hmm.
Got a little unlucky and like only had 4 strikeouts with like the 60-something pitches. And I was like, there's no way he's not getting like 80 to 85 today, getting Detroit. And if he gets unlucky again, then so be it. But yeah, he was a lock and load pick for me today.
You mentioned umpires, the data. Like again, this is assumed. This stuff sometimes, rarely, it happens though. Changes, because this is a brand new series for all these teams on a Monday. But we have 2 extreme pitchers umpires, as Stevie mentioned, extreme pitchers umpire for Joe Ryan and Chris Bubik, and also the Houston versus Houston's playing Chicago, right? Yeah, Houston versus Chicago game has an extreme pitchers umpire as well, Ron Culpa. I don't think that's going to make us roster Johnny Cueto, but just throwing it out there. And Urquidy, he's throwing baseballs today, Chop. That's your boy, but you mentioned 7 pitchers. Is he one of the 7? Probably not.
He actually is one of the other 7. And like Stevie said, it's probably not going to be a FanDuel single, pitcher thing. But if you're looking for an SP2, I think Urquidy, he had a rough outing last time out, but that was against a team that kind of familiar with him. So I'm not taking too much out of that. He's been really good before that. And, I like, you'd much rather have a right-hander facing the White Sox than you would a left-hander. And they've got a couple injuries in there. So I could see Urquidy really paying off tonight. So he's one of the 7, yeah. But like you said, like most of these lower-end guys are going to be SP2s on DraftKings. You kind of want to stick with your top 5 or 6 on FanDuel and just having one pitcher.
Can I play devil's advocate to that?
Go for it.
He throws way too many fastballs and way too many sliders. He's reverse splits. These guys are right-handed heavy, and they smash fastballs. So very, very on the fence on him tonight, and kind of like the White Sox bats. So, Chop, I don't have like your mustache, but I mean, you're supposed to be going against Dean here. What's up with that?
Yeah, well, mustaches unite. That's my brother Wario. Grant said earlier today.
Whoa! What? Whoa! Hold on. We're not going to call Chop brother here, Dean.
Me and Chop have a certain rapport, I think. Maybe it's just spelled on my end.
Oh,
is it getting awkward now?
Oh. Sorry, Chop.
Did I overstep Chop?
That took me by surprise right there.
Did you want to be Mario? Am I Wario? Is that what's upsetting you?
I'm done with this conversation, Dean.
Do you want to play more than 10% somebody, Chop? You can't be brothers with Dean playing.
Yeah, but I mean, Stevie's right about Urquidy. Like, I was really on the fence about him, and then the tiebreaker for me, I was looked and go, well, Vegas is saying 4-run team total. That's pretty moderate these days. I can get behind him. You just never know. So he was a fence guy, but you're just taking shots and hoping. He does throw a lot of fastballs. Sometimes he's worked so fast he'll catch him off guard and he'll start mowing through a lineup, and before you know it, he's 6 innings, 6 Ks. But yeah, he's definitely a fence guy.
He does. His delivery and stuff is so fast. I mean, it's very interesting.
Chop, I'm giving away 1 week free of RotoGrinders Premium. The people will learn why in the chat. Best response to my tweet I just put out there: Walker Buehler undergoing season-ending elbow surgery. That's terrible.
Wow,
that's rough for Buehler and the Dodgers. If you get to best answer here, best reply, just put a picture. Dan Box says Warren Sharp. That's pretty good. Oh man, do you rival Warren Sharp there in the stash territory? That's pretty solid.
Dean, little known fact.
Yeah.
I hate to say this. I hate to throw him under the bus, but Warren Sharp actually also has a fake mustache. He just pushes it on every morning. It's a glue-on.
What? Wait, hold on. Are you outing yourself? You're saying I thought your mustache was legit. You're saying that's fake. You said also. You just outed yourself.
Maybe I'm talking about you. Maybe you got the push.
But this
on
is real.
mustache.
Look, I can tug on it. Tug on yours.
That
Go
does
ahead.
not. Yeah, I can tug like that too.
Very, very gently.
Whoop-de-doo. It's all camera effects, dude. It's all
Too bad.
camera effects. We don't. Come on now.
I can't tug on mine
Why not?
because my kid
Yours
does that enough. I'm
Oh.
out. You tug away.
We're giving away a week free RotoGrinders Premium. Best possible answer. Oh, Bobby Valentine's a great answer too. That's pretty solid. I like that answer from Johnny DFS there on the old Twitter. Again, check it out in the chat. If you guys hang out in chat, watch us on YouTube. Do hit that like button. Do subscribe. Turn on those notifications. Stevie gave away, or he's willing to give away. If we get up to 100 likes, which is not asking too much. Get 100 likes. Stevie will give away 1 week free of his NASCAR package. Is that correct there, Stevie?
Yeah, I mean, we're just when we get to 100, I'm just gonna have a bunch of people post sevens. I'm gonna pick a 7.
How are you going to pick somebody though? Like how?
Random. I'm just gonna like point to the screen. There you go.
Oh well, okay,
Straight random.
fair enough.
Whatever way your mustache points, easy way to give something away.
John Turturro is a good answer there on the old Twitter. John, there's some. It's funny. Everybody replying, or what most of the people replying, already have RotoGrinders Premium. You want to give it away to somebody in chat or somebody on my Twitter feed, so feel free. I'll keep it up there for several hours. Well, I'm not going to erase it, but you know what I mean. We'll decide later on tonight's. Alex says
Maybe you should turn your iPad off when you do a show. Like, jeez.
Well, no, it lets
it's
me
like
know.
It's like
Crazy.
you've never done a show before.
I can hear his camera snapping when he's taking pictures. And
I was laughing at that
iPads.
earlier.
Come on, man.
This guy.
Well, typically I turn it on because it lets me know about things like lineups when lineups are dropping or guys getting scratched. That's how I knew about Pena not playing baseball tonight because I got the alert. Bueller, I just got that as far as something out for the season. Obviously, it's DFS. All we care about is today and today only, but that is unfortunate. Last lineup I believe he got was Minnesota, right? Okay, and Buxton is playing. There's always kind of a question if he is or is not. Today, Buxton happens to be in the lineup. We're still waiting on, I think, San Francisco. Who else are we waiting on as far as
Dean?
Yeah.
While you look at the lineup, some of them can I just tell you
Yeah.
that Walker Bueller being out, it's a wrap. The Mets win the National League now.
That's a big deal. Like that really is. Yeah. And the Mets, they're 1-2, and even the Hound, Chris Bassett, he's their 3, right? I think he's their 3. But Scherzer and DeGrom, just as long as DeGrom stays healthy, like it's ridiculous how much better he is than like the second best pitcher in baseball. I compared him to Joey Chestnut the other day. Like that's how far he is the Joey Chestnut of Major League pitching.
It's a wrap, Dean. It's a wrap. And unless Trevor Bauer comes running through those doors anytime soon.
Not going to happen.
That doesn't seem like it's happening.
No.
Like, that's entirely unlikely.
That's why I got the Mets now, man. That's going to be a tough.
I think you could take the Mets to win the World Series.
Yeah, then I'd
get a Subway Series for a World Series?
Then I'd have to root for him against my Astros. So I don't want to do all
No,
that.
I'm saying though, I like the Astros to come out of the AL as well. But wouldn't it be cool if we got like a Subway Series?
We already had that. It's cool for New York, I guess.
Yeah, but the Mets have a chance this time.
You know what? If the Astros aren't going to win it, I wouldn't mind seeing the Mets win it. I like the Mets the way they're designed. The Yankees,
I like that.
I'm with you that it would probably be a cool series, but I could not stand the Yankees fans if their team made the World Series. I just can't. I can't do it, man. So I can't allow that to happen.
Are they your least favorite fan base? If you're gonna,
They're terrible.
Cowboys fan, and you're saying the worst fan base in all sports is the Yankees?
Yeah. Oh,
They're
yeah.
terrible.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Talking like a true Red Sox fan, but yeah.
But it's one of those things where like every fan base has their blotches and but collectively, I guess, I don't know, I suppose. Yeah, my notifications are flying. I usually I didn't realize I would have a tweet that would like get popular on the show. I was thinking I just wouldn't be tweeting. But
Dean, how hot is bell peppers?
Yeah, so Grant is giving me a hard time because we were ordering something and like he's like, "You want peppers?" I'm like, "No, I'm out on peppers. Peppers deal breaker. I'm heat sensitive." Like bell peppers, apparently, my understanding now is that they're not hot. They're not hot. They're by association. Bell peppers always caught shrapnel. I just assume like it's a pepper. It's out. It's not happening. So I guess they're not spicy. I don't know, but I'm not a fan of the pepper. It's not for me.
You know what we need to do, and I don't know if Grant's watching, but we need to do the betting show that he does that you and him do all the time.
Yeah.
I'll come on as a guest, and we need to do hot ones.
Oh man,
three
there's
of
no
us.
way I'll do that. Like, there's no chance.
Why not?
I'm a wimp.
What if we make what if we do some type of incentive?
You got to?
I mean, you know, maybe we'll make sure we shave off your mustache. That'll really help you.
I mean, that would be easy. Okay, but like, I don't want to have to eat anything hot. If I can, I don't understand the pleasure people get out of like burning their mouth. Like, what is the pleasure in that? What am I missing? But
I ordered some hot ones, hot sauce today.
That's a fun show.
I had jalapenos on my pizza yesterday.
That's my dude.
I can't think of the guy's name, but the host is spectacular.
He is great. He's
very, very good. He asks awesome questions. Just a good conversationalist, good researcher as well too. Always kind of digging in and throwing some curveballs at the guests.
Sean Evans, right?
There you go. That's it. He's great.
Now chat's catching up to us.
We want to get.
Do you do jalapenos on like your subs too?
Oh yeah.
Do you have Publix there? Like a chicken wrap from Publix with
not.
Oh man, chicken wrap with jalapenos and their chipotle mayo. It's so good.
I get the Publix Cuban sometimes. Yeah.
Oh yeah, they have a really good Cuban. I
get it pressed. You got to get it pressed. Some have a presser, some don't. But yeah,
mine has a presser. We're good.
That's the key. Yeah, Publix mostly just East Coast, Tennessee, South Carolina, Florida. I think that's their base. But yeah, I'm in Colorado. King Soopers is the big store out here, and Safeway, I guess. King Soopers is what I've gone with. I don't know if that's the people. Confirm in chat that if you're in the Colorado area, that's your go-to. That's what I've discovered, at least. Chop, give me the summary. We didn't really talk about. I feel like we should talk about this one, Chop, specifically. Actually, I'll ask this one to Stevie because he's playing some DK. Just the price is too good in Alex Cobb, and Alex Cobb this season has been really unlucky. If you look at his Vance stuff, you know, he's got a 4.15 ERA, but the Sierra is 3.09, one of the best Sierras in the slate. I think it's fourth best. The K rate is solid, 25%, really, really solid. Unlucky. BABIP 328. That's too high. Left on base is really unlucky at 61%. I believe that's the lowest on the slate. The home run fly ball, not goofy at all. Of course, he's protected by that ballpark. One place, by the way, that's a good place to hit the ball in San Fran, center field. Center field's like 391. I think it's the second shortest center field in all of baseball. I think Boston might be number one. Boston or San Fran. Those are the two shortest ones. But kind of, if you're going to hit the ball far, hit the ball in the air in San Fran, try to hit it dead center. What do you have here, Stevie, as far as Cobb? Because I think he's cheap enough and the matchup's good enough that he's worth considering as an SP2.
I like Cobb. I think I like Ryan more. Like Ryan made my builds more than Cobb did. The strikeout matchup is okay. They kind of walk. They tend to put the ball in play. Peralta was like that one big strikeout guy in the lineup, and like he's gone now and striking out elsewhere. They don't have a ton of power. I could see Cobb having like 7 innings, really solid, like maybe 6 strikeout game, picking up the win. So I mean, I definitely think he's playable at 7K. It's just the thing, like he has been pitching better. He's still walking people. He gets a good pitcher's umpire. Maybe that helps with him tonight. So I think Alex Cobb, I would play Alex Cobb before I would play your Kitey tonight.
Me too. Angels lineup came out. Fletcher, Otani, Rengifo, Ward, Walsh, Duggar, Stassi, Sierra, and Velasquez. You all know it's going to be bad. It is bad.
It's so bad.
Yeah, it's just pretty.
It's crazy what like 2 hitters not being in that lineup does to that lineup with Trout and Rendon. Like it really crushes that lineup overall.
Yeah, I forgot Rendon even existed, but yeah. Waiting on San Fran, waiting on the Mariners. Otherwise, we got everything else as far as lineup wise. Chop, give me your summary as far as pitchers.
Dean, summary is what we've talked about. 3 elite pitchers. I like them all equally as much. The big 3, Cole, Castillo, and Shohei. Then then you can follow it up with about 5 solid second-tier pitchers, all of whom really good. I'll have as much Alex Cobb as I will Garrett Cole. I think Cobb is fine, like you just mentioned, and then some cheaper guys, Gray and Otto. And that's what it is. And I don't think you need to go down, Pat, in the bottom half of those pitching options. I don't think you need to go down there. But question for you, Dean, is what happens to the place where you were staying at prior to moving to Grants? Are you still paying rent somewhere? And
It's fine. Yeah, it's not worth getting into, but it's kind of it's a family place. Yeah, it's kind of like a home base. It's a home base in Florida essentially, and I've been jumping around. Like I was living in, well, I was going to say Orlando, but that was way back ago. I was in Vegas. I was in Charleston, Daniel Island, South Carolina. I was in Nashville, and then I've been in Florida. I had to go back there for family reasons, let's just say. And yeah, it's fine. Everything's okay. There's nothing that needs tending to.
Nothing that needs tending to. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good. But yeah, and I eventually, you know, I'm going to claim squatters' rights pretty soon with Grant, but he's going to kick me out pretty soon. I don't know how much longer I have here, but I am enjoying my time. I'm just enjoying sports betting out here, and just Colorado's pretty cool as is. But
would you go so far as to say that when he does kick you out, maybe you'd be willing to grab an apartment right down the street from him?
It's funny. I've been looking at, I've been browsing, but I don't want to. I'm tired of renting. I feel like I'm just throwing the money away when I'm renting, right? And then buying a place is a big commitment too. And the market, I'm sure you've noticed, or maybe you're aware, the housing market's been crazy the last couple of years. Looks like it's dipping down a little bit of late. That's not my area of specialty, but yeah, I'm looking at it, and if I'm considering a move out here, yeah, and absolutely, I love the idea of living right next door to Grant and just harassing him every single day. That'll be good times for sure.
There you go. Maybe, you know what, Dean? Maybe DC, maybe Draft Cheat has a spot for you in the basement.
You know, can I Draft Cheat? We went to a Rockies game a month ago. Myself, Mangone, Dude Manpa as well. I laid out the money for the tickets, which is always a rookie mistake.
Oh, yeah.
I had to do a little bit of. I gave a nudge to Mangone, and Mangone paid me.
DC did. Oh, I got it.
I gave a nudge to DC, and like just nothing. Just
crickets.
You know,
Crickets.
It's been a month. He still hasn't paid me. It's like $45. Like, what are we doing? Like,
and now you're like throwing him out there for like $45. Just be like, hey man, you know, I hope you enjoyed the game. It's $45. Dean, do you need $45, Dean?
It's the principle. I'm a man of principle.
Oh, right.
At some point, it's a principle, is it not? Like he's got the money. I'm not privy to his like bank account information, but I know he's won. I saw he won a tournament. He hit the Royal stolen bases versus Thor. Like he's made some Twitter victory laps, and like he's got $45. I assume he does. And I'm not here to beg for $45, but like, you know, come on, at some point.
I think
it's been a month.
I think I just figured out how to get you to do hot ones. I'll just have to like talk to Grant and be like, hey, you know, you can give Dean another month and that like hang out if he does hot. Man, you just served it up on a platter for me, but we'll get that GoFundMe going for your $45. You know, it sounds like you really need it.
The chat's killing me, by the way. They're putting this on me like I need $45. Like, no, I'm a man of principles. Chopper, if you laid out $45 for me to buy a ticket, I'm going to pay you the $45. That's it. Like I'm not going to have you beg or grovel and knock on my door several times about it. And this is on me if I don't pay you. I'm sure you've been in a predicament before where somebody's owed you money and it's uncomfortable, right? But it's not on you.
For sure. Well, I agree, Dean. It's not really the amount; it's the principle. I agree with that too.
I agree with you too. I just like messing with you.
I got a notification yesterday. I got charged $10 for Uber Technologies, and I was like $10, not a huge deal. But I'm like, I scrambled for an hour. Why the hell are they charging me $10? You know, I didn't get to the bottom. It's the principle of the matter, man.
Yes. And the chat, I can't believe the chat's against me in this. They're giving me a hard time, but we got Eric in chat is just tweeted at DC to pay me my money. This worked last time with Mango, by the way. Oh my gosh, Stevie, give me your summary as far as pitchers.
I got $10 on Luis Castillo. You know, hitting his strikeout prop tonight. If it hits, Dean, I'll give you $8.
Well, wait a second. Hold on. You're making fun of me for wanting to get my $45 out of principal, and you're making a $10 wager? What?
It was a joke.
Oh, okay. Just want to make sure.
I live in Florida, buddy. I mean,
Price Picks? Yeah.
I mean, Price Picks. I do have Castillo over. But anyway, all joking aside, probably going to end up underweight on Garrett Cole, even though I think he's the best pitcher on the slate. Just massive ownership on a slate where Otani, Urias, Castillo, Ryan, Cobb, Carrasco. I mean, there's all these guys could potentially outscore Garrett Cole today. And I mean, this is an important game for the Rays and the Yankees. Not as much the Yankees as the Rays. So I think that, we're going to see a lot of pinch hitting and stuff for the Rays throughout this whole series. They want to win these games. So we're not technically there yet, but we're getting there. And I mean, every game matters for Tampa and pretty much everybody in the AL East right now, except for my Red Sox because they stink.
Come on, Boston, is it happening?
Listen, like the first week of the season, I said Boston wasn't happening, but I do like the moves they made. They really didn't do anything to get Hosmer and Phams, and they're just kind of loners, so it doesn't really matter. Like San Diego's paying, I think, like 85% of Hosmer's contract, so the Red Sox got him for free.
Yeah, that didn't cost them anything, but just a roster spot, basically. I was checking the 538 odds on Boston. Last I looked, it's like 10-15% or something like that. Let's talk some stacks. Whatever's in the chat's mind, I'm going to keep an eye on that as well too. And Stevie, I don't think there's any one stack that stands out. They're all just sort of like in the same bucket of like pretty good and good hitters. Our consensus rankings, we have Toronto, then Houston. I had Houston first, and I feel like I should drop them back because their lineup has just gotten worse with the absence of Altuve, the absence of Pena. Dubon and Gurriel 1-2 is pretty rough. It gets good after that, obviously. So Toronto, Houston, Yankees, Dodgers, Minnesota. That's 1 through 5. Texas, Atlanta, Baltimore got some love as well. Your thoughts here, Stevie, as far as stacks before we go around the horn?
I mean, I love the Yankees today. Yarbrough and was it Beeks? Beeks starting, Yarbrough coming in. 2 lefties.
That's weird, right? What's that?
I mean, it works for the Yankees bats for sure. Torres, Judge, Rizzo can hit lefties, Donaldson, Trevino, the catcher, cheap catcher that has some power. So, I mean, I think the Yankees are the top stack on the slate today. I, talked about them in the extra survey a little bit. I like the Baltimore-Toronto game just as a whole. Bradish's reverse splits, ton of right-handed power, and it didn't work out last week when we tried this in Baltimore. I think like Toronto's playing as a much better hitter's park than Baltimore with all the changes this year. So I like the go back to the well here on Toronto, and I love Baltimore against Kikuchi. So like game stacking that game, McKenna has some power. Santander has some power, Mountcastle, Hayes. So both of those offenses have good matchups in that Baltimore-Toronto game. So like if I'm looking at my top 3 stacks, it'd be those 3 teams.
I'm afraid McKenna turns into Mullins at some point in this game, just throwing it out there on the bench once Kikuchi gets out of the game. And he doesn't go very deep either. So I think
his price, like it's priced in. Like if you get 3 at-bats at minimum salary against Kikuchi or whoever it may be, like if you get that 3rd at-bat, like that's what you're kind of paying for price-wise.
Fair enough. Chop, I'm looking at your rankings right now as far as our consensus rankings, and you had Toronto 1, Houston 2, Minnesota 3, Texas 4, New York 5. Do you agree with me that they're all kind of like we got to put a number on it? We have to rank them. That's our job. That's what we're doing. But the distance from 1 through 5 or even like 1 through 6 or 7 is just not that great for me. Do you agree with that thought?
Repeat that question, Dean.
What are you doing?
I was looking at Twitter. These answers are pretty good.
They're having a good time, right? I deleted my first tweet. My first tweet wasn't a good effort. I just sometimes the first thing that popped in my head, and I'm like, I'm multitasking. I'm doing a show right now. I'm asking for likes. I'm throwing questions people's way. So it wasn't a great tweet to start with. But then I said, hey, let's give away some premium out of this. Have a good time with it. Get some good answers. Chop, as far as stacks, right? 1 through 7. Right, and I just ran off who you ranked. You ranked this earlier today. I don't know if this stuff changed. You had Toronto, then Houston, then Minnesota, Texas, New York. We're required to name 1 through 5 and in like some days 1 is distinctly better than 5.
Yeah.
For me, I don't think that's the case. They're all kind of sort of 1 through 6 or 7 is pretty close.
Correct.
Okay.
Very tight.
So like, what's your thought on that, or how you're handling that from a roster perspective, or how you're building stuff?
That goes back to what we said at the beginning of the show. I won't be, won't be forcing any 4-man stacks in there. Like, I like to stack when things either jump off to me or the numbers are there. 13 game slate, 14 game slate. I'll start to stack. We're at 10, which isn't a huge number. And we're at a lot of different lineups or a lot of different teams looking about the same. Nothing stands out statistically to me as of right now. I see a lot of individual hitters I really like.
Yeah.
And maybe I don't love the stacks that go with them. So because of that, it'll make me alter the settings in the lineup builder to say that maybe don't necessarily force any 4-man stacks, maybe max it out at 3 or and stuff like that.
Yeah, Alan mentioned the Rangers stack with the new manager. Yeah, you don't really see a manager getting fired this late in the season. It just kind of played out. But I saw he fired some. Was it the GM? Was it just the manager? They're turning over some stuff there in Texas. Obviously, their season's over. It's been a pretty big disappointment. I guess it's a good spot against Kaprelian. Sure, they're actually favored 4.5 team total, and Stemi and on Fanduel, they just forgot it was revenge. He's like 2-4 over there, which is completely egregious. Seager and Garcia, even Lau. I like the 1 through 4, and even on DK, we got a roster of catcher. I don't mind Heim either. Some made up names. The back of that lineup, these are all made up names, right? Brad Miller, Bubba Thompson, Josh Smith. That sounds like creative player names. I don't believe those people exist. I need some photographic evidence of that. Speaking of catchers, I mentioned Heim. Let's go around the horn, give our favorite plays. And Stevie, you know what? You got the short straw. You're going to tell us how many catchers you like tonight.
Joey Bart.
Because he's super cheap, and that's that.
Gary Sanchez, Joey Bart, Jose Trevino. I mean, you can pay up for Will Smith or Rutschman, Perez, Contreras if you want to, but pitching is going to be priority for me today. So where do I like to save money? Catcher. I think Bart, if he's in the lineup, assuming that he's going to play against Bumgarner. Gary Sanchez has home run power. He's actually been hitting the ball well over the last few days. Trevino has power against the lefty bullpen type of game. So, I mean, I'm saving money as much as I possibly can at catcher today.
I know you mentioned Ryan, but I like throwing lefties out on Melendez. Ryan is just really, really bad versus lefties. So I don't mind him. If you want to spend up, you can get Perez on the other side. But Melendez at 4.3 is pretty interesting. Chop in chat, he says that he's calling you Mike Ditka, that Ryan. Can you do a Bears impression of the Bears? Can you drop that for the people?
Bears.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, a little SNL for the old schoolers. Chop, I know, of course, you're playing on Fanduel, obviously. You don't necessarily have to roster any catchers. Are you going to be? Is there any catchers in your pool?
Sure, you keep them in there for a little bit and see how it plays out. There's some like if I'm on DraftKings, I probably am going to punt it if I were playing there, like Stevie said. If you wanted to spend up on Fanduel, well, you want to spend up on Fanduel. You don't want to take the minimum catcher on Fanduel and use your utility or your first base on him. So you want a guy who can actually hit. And guys who can actually hit tonight that I think are okay are Adley Rutschman, Yasmani Grandal, and even William Contreras, the Atlanta version. So yeah, I'd be spinning up on Fanduel at catcher.
Let's see. I'm just checking that Atlanta lineup. Did we confirm it's Contreras? Okay, yeah. Okay, so they're both in there. I thought I saw Darno, but yeah, they're both in there today. I guess one's DHing, I suppose. William Contreras and Travis Darno both playing for Atlanta today. Pretty good pitchers duel on deck there. Carrasco and Strider. Two good lineups that are going to be pretty ignored from a hitting perspective. But of course, if you're running 150, you're playing in large fields. Not so crazy to run out players on New York and Atlanta as well. Chop, let's jump to first base. Vladdy, Vladdy looks awesome versus Bradish. Bradish reverse splitsy. And then it's up higher, down low for me. I think it's pretty clear. Vinny Pasquantino. He just won the American League Player of the Week, despite the fact never homering whenever I roster him. He does hit home runs. I just always seem to miss those. DK still has an egregious price on him at 2.1K. I talked about lefties against Joe Ryan. Joe Ryan is really vulnerable to lefties. For me, it's high or low. Of course, you can go in between guys like Olsen, guys like Abreu. Lau's pretty cheap as well. How do you see first base, Chop?
You mentioned two of them. Vlad, actually the two ends of it. The most expensive Vlad, highest projected Vlad, and then the exact opposite down there, the cheapest DraftKings, Vinny Pasquantino at only $2,100. That's a good price. But in the middle there, Jose Abreu against a fastball pitcher. Let's get Jose Abreu in there. Ryan Mountcastle, I actually like the Baltimore stacks against Kikuchi. He really struggled last time out, and I see some flaws in him right now, and I think Baltimore can take advantage of it. And I'll throw Matt Olson out there. I don't have the BVP pulled up. I think Matt Olson qualifies, though, as a potential BVP play today. So I'm going to throw Matt Olson out there.
You know what? I'm going to pull it up in just a second, and I'll confirm or deny. I think the crazy BVP one is Santana. I think Carlos Santana's got crazy BVP, but obviously, that's pretty worthless these days, I think.
He's not even in the lineup.
Oh, well, there you go. And cross him off the list. Stevie, what do you have as far as first?
I mean, like you said, Vlad at the top. Rizzo as a contrarian play, lefty. Don't think anybody's going to play Rizzo today. Like I said, I like the Yankees stack. So if I'm stacking the Yankees, I'm looking at Rizzo. I really love Nate Lowe. Caprillion is not good, and he really stinks against lefties. So I love Nate Lowe here. He's been hitting the ball well over the last, 10 days, really. This is a guy that had some potential, and we kind of were waiting for it to come back. So I like that. And then Meneses is someone that I like as well. Marcus Stroman's decent. Probably play him more in the outfield than at first base over there on DraftKings. Just trying to find some value to get some pitching in. He's 3,100. He's hitting second today, and he's shown some power. So, I mean, like you guys mentioned, Vinny's cheap. You could definitely look at him at 2,100 as well. So top end or bottom end, I really don't love the mid tier. There's not much standing out to me in the mid tier today.
Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth coming on about 20 minutes or so, as well as Dave Potts. And I believe, I want to say it's SquirrelPatrol. Am I wrong in saying that? I'm trying to find it. You guys know who is joining the next show? I believe it's Squirrel. Somebody else that knows that's pretty sharp. I imagine Squirrel. That works for y'all. I did just drop the weather, Kevin Roth's weather in chat. Nothing to be terribly concerned with just yet. Of course, I'll give the update in about 20 minutes or so. Yellow is the worst we have, but it is in Washington for what it's worth. And they have a sketchy history with their weather games. Chop, second base. I mentioned it before. You're playing on FanDuel. Marcus Semien. That's disrespectful, the price tag on him, right? Especially in a revenge game.
Yeah, that's number one shortstop tonight, Marcus Semien. Definitely like that right there. Luis Ariz keeps popping up for me at a bunch of different positions. He's got a lot of flexibility there. So Ariz, I like that matchup. And if you want to pick on Matt Ryan or Joe Ryan, it might be Matt Ryan, Matt Ryan's cousin or something. But if you want to go, if you're not playing Joe Ryan, Michael Massey's he's dirt minimum on DraftKings, 2K, and he's batting in the fifth spot. It's always a little bit of value with guys like that. And I'm looking at the chat right now, Dean.
Yeah.
And I see our buddy Naked HD in there.
Yeah.
And this really feels like TJ forgot to switch accounts right here. It's 330 watching, and we're not even at 100. It feels like TJ didn't log out of the Naked HD profile and put his own in there. So I'm thinking this is lending credence to the rumor that's out there that TJ is Naked HD.
The rumor you started.
I didn't start it. I didn't start that rumor.
TJ's got to be on some sort of. He just got married this weekend, I believe. It's minor, unless something some shenanigans. To my knowledge, that was the plan. So congratulations to him.
Wait a minute.
What?
TJ had a wedding this weekend?
Yeah, in Saskatoon.
You know who else had a wedding?
Matt.
Davis Matt. So they didn't get married together, did they?
Not to my knowledge. No, I did not see pictures of any brides, but to my knowledge, no, they did not. Were you invited? Are you and Matic, you guys boys, were you invited to that wedding?
That's a negative, Ghost Rider.
Is that surprising? Or were you on the list? Were you like a last cut? Or
certainly not surprising. Certainly not surprising. Well, good luck to them all.
Yeah, good luck. Congratulations, everybody all around. I saw Soccer Dave and Dinkmeyer, and who else did I see at that? I feel like I saw somebody else and I don't recall. In Maddox, the one picture I saw that he tweeted out, but congratulations to him. Yeah, well, the reason why Naked HD is bringing up the amount of likes in chat, I imagine, is because if we get to 100, Stevie promised he's going to give out a 1 week free to RotoGrinders Premium. They're all putting sevens in chat now, Stevie. Did we hit 100? Is that what happens?
We did.
So yeah, look what you just caused. Now it's just a bunch of stuff in the chat.
It's like I didn't do it on purpose.
So you said you're gonna pick somebody at random.
Yeah, I'll randomly look over there eventually and pick someone. So
but how do you pick who stands out? Like, okay, that guy put 7.
No, I'm just gonna point your mustache. I'm gonna like tilt my screen a little bit, point your mustache, and that's who wins.
Somebody put Siete. There's some creativity for that, but this is you feel free to select.
I'm just gonna let it keep going. I mean, it's working perfect right now. Like,
it really isn't though. Second base, Stevie. Did you give your thoughts as far as second?
Marcus Semien, like him. I mean, really, just whoever kind of fits in the build. I mean, I think my top second baseman would be Torres against the lefties from Tampa. Wilmer Flores, if he's in the lineup against Madison Bumgarner. I mean, listen, I really like San Francisco today, and I hope that they're the late night hammer, not the Dodgers. So I think this is a great spot for them. Bumgarner stinks. So
revenge?
There you go.
No more revenge. Revenge can only take you so far these days, I suppose. No San Fran lineup just yet. That's the last one we're waiting on. Seattle did come out. J-Rod leading off with France, Winker, Haniger, Crawford, Frazier, Raleigh, Haggerty, and Jake Lamb. Yeah, he's a Mariner now. Chop, did you give your thoughts a second? I believe you did, right?
Yes.
Jump got a winner.
Oh, go for it.
Aaron Rasmus. There you go.
How did you go about it?
I just put my screen over there and copied a name, and that's the name that got copied. There you go.
There you go. Congratulations.
Send me a DM on Twitter, and I'll get you hooked up.
All right. Congratulations to Aaron. Stevie, talk about third base, hot corner. Who do you like?
I mean, Chapman in the Toronto stack. JD Davis, if I want to save some money, he's really cheap. So I like him. Miranda for some power upside that's cheap against Bubic. Wisdom if you want to get really different. But, I mean, I really like Bregman and I really like Houston. The lineup came out and it's kind of underwhelming. So maybe that kind of works out. Josh Donaldson in that matchup against the lefties as well. Yeah, I mean, overall, I think it's just kind of who you're playing unless you want to save some money with like a JD Davis. But Donaldson would probably be my favorite third baseman today.
He's really, really cheap on FanDuel. Like Semien super cheap at second, Donaldson super cheap at third. Like if you're playing cash games these days, those guys are almost definitely in your lineup. Chop, what do you have as far as third?
A couple of the same guys, Chapman and JD Davis, jump out. I like Alex Bregman. Yeah, the lineup's a little underwhelming, but Bregman's hot right now. He's in a good groove. You got to take advantage of it while it's here. If Evan Longoria makes the lineup for San Fran, I kind of like him against in this matchup. And Yohan Moncada batting 6th tonight against Urquidy. I think Moncada's pretty decent.
Hey, Chop, Big Hurt wants to know who's your favorite FanDuel single entry stack, and I think that's kind of a trick question, maybe because you're not necessarily fully stacking, right?
I am not, but I understand the concept and what people are trying to do there. So I would say single entry. Where am I going single entry? Man, that's a tough one. Single entry. Even single entry, though, can be a big pool of players you're playing against or a small pool. So if we're talking about, you got to beat out 1,000 other people to win something, I might go Baltimore. I think they're on the radar enough that it's not like crazy, but nobody will stack them. And I think this is a good matchup. He's a good pitcher most of the time, but good pitchers have bad, segments of their season. I think Kikuchi is in one right now.
There are two spots remaining in the RotoGrinders a single entry series play on FanDuel, $50 single entry. It's probably going to be booked by the time I finish this sentence. The $1 variety, the $1 still has 1,000 spots remaining, the bunt. So go ahead and get in that. But again, if you wanted to play in the blast tonight, 2 spots. So pounce right now, or that's that. Let's jump to shortstop, Chopper. Who do you have at short?
How is there somebody already in chat named Chops Stash? That's crazy. I appreciate it, man.
That has to be Kirk, right?
I don't know if Kirk would make the effort to change his name like that.
It's Chopstash 777. Is that a clue? I don't know, but that's awesome. Good job.
All right, let's see. Yeah.
I mean, we got the sevens going in chat today. It's been
I
a
didn't,
good day.
I didn't even pick up on that. That's really well done, man. All right, so Seager is money tonight. He's expensive though. Bo Bichette batting fifth is in a pretty good one. Carlos Correa against the left-hander, a little bit cheaper and batting second. And off the radar, part of that Baltimore stack, guys, to give me some Jorge Mateo. I think he's the only guy in the major leagues that has 10 plus homers and 25 plus steals this year. So he can get it done. If not with power, he gets it done on the base paths for you. So Jorge
That's a nice
Mateo.
little stat. That's good. Yeah, I think that's all right because there's not many guys that have 25 stolen bases.
Correct.
Yeah, he's got just enough power to make that work. 11 homers in the season. What do you have, Stevie, as far as shortstops?
Spoiler alert, just for Dean, because if you didn't watch this live, technically it was never live, but Corey Seager is my beast of the night tonight, filling in for Beer over there with a 6-pack. I love him tonight. Going to be playing him on at least 2 of my 3 teams. CJ Abrams, very talented young hitter that is back with the big league club here in Washington now, was part of the Juan Soto trade.
Oh, yeah.
He's batting 7th tonight. He is 2,100 on DK. So if you're looking to save some money, I mean, this guy is talented. He has great numbers in AAA. It didn't translate very well with San Diego. Gets another go at it here. I mean, Washington thought highly enough to, include him in the deal. So Abrams is I think he's top 3 prospect in all of baseball.
Yeah, huge prospect.
Yeah, so at 2,100, I mean, if you're looking to save money, like we have him projected right now for less than 2%. I think he maybe gets up to 5% at this price now that like lineups have come out. But, Strowman, when he struggles, it's kind of against lefties with some power. So CJ Abrams, really cheap potential shortstop play tonight.
This is his first. I don't know. I think they sent them down to AAA, which is
weird. Was it Garcia? Someone got hurt for Washington, and that's why he got called back up.
That seems strange. I mean, he's only 21 years old. But it's still like, why not? See what you have in the guy. One of the bigger prospects in all of baseball. According to Fangraphs, says overall rank 11, but I feel like it's been upgraded from that. And it depends where you're looking, like Baseball America, MLB. There's all different places, and it is a premium prospect. A lot of speed there, too. Plenty of speed. Tons of 80 speed, according to the prospect rankings. 80-80, pretty solid there.
I think Baseball America, it was Abrams, Witt, and Rutschman as the top 3.
There's somebody in chat now going by the stash, and they have a hammer. Who could that possibly be?
It's me, Dean. Don't you see my picture next to it?
I know.
I just changed my name. Took a little effort, but I got there.
Yeah, it's good stuff. Chopper, we're jumping to the outfield, right? What do we have in the outfield today?
Outfield. All right. I'm just going to list off some names here for you and whatever. Austin Hayes, fine against the left-hander. Adolis Garcia, good. AJ Pollock, Eloy Jimenez in that Chicago stack if you want it. Byron Buxton, expensive guy there. Okay, now we get to the good Kyle Tucker, who's heating up also. So we'll say Kyle Tucker. And the best hitter, barring any position today, the best hitter tonight, Yordan Alvarez. He's the number 1 guy for me. And I say that the differentiator here between him and any of the other high-priced guys, he's facing off against Cueto. If you follow Yordan, he struggles with the high fastballs. He could struggle. That's his Achilles heel. He crushes off-speed pitches. He's really good at it, especially changeups. He's really good, but he'll also crush sinkers too. Loves it low and loves it slow. Oh, I like that one. He loves it low and slow. Yordan, he's going to get a lot of that from Cueto tonight. A lot of sinkers, a lot of changeups. Yordan, theoretically, is in a really good spot to crush tonight.
Yeah, I mean, Yordan is like second or third in basically every single meaningful baseball stat. ISO, WOBA, WRC+, him and Judge basically battling it out. There's somebody else too. I can't think of for some reason. All the gyrations, all the guile, all the savviness of Cueto. He's still throwing junk up there, obviously. And I like Yordan a good bit too. Seems like one of the better hitters on the slate, not the best, like you said. And I was also looking at the Fangraph stuff. Lefties in, what do they call that? Something rate park. What's Chicago call these days? Progressive rate or some kind of rate, whatever it is. It's the second best ballpark the last 2 seasons.
Comiskey Park.
I don't believe it's Comiskey anymore. I'm pretty sure that's
they changed it.
They changed the back.
Oh, wow.
Guaranteed rate, I think that's what it is. That sounds whatever. It doesn't matter. Second best ballpark in home runs for lefty power in Chicago the last 2 years. So, and his ballpark is like neutral at best, right? Not that he necessarily needs it, but he can take that ballpark boost as well. Stevie, what do you have as far as outfielders?
Judge, man, I love Aaron Judge today. Threw up a little prize pick total base 3-man over there. Alvarez, Judge, Vlad over 1.5 total bases. They have been coming out with like Judge at like 2.5. So like to see him at 1.5 total bases today. But yeah, I love Aaron Judge today. Like I said, this is going to be Beeks followed by Yarbrough. I mean, he's going to get 2 or 3 at-bats against lefties that can't strike people out. And he's Aaron Judge, and he's very good at hitting baseballs over the fence. So love the Yorton Alvarez call. Jimenez, we talked about Urquidy having those reverse splits, throwing a lot of fastballs, throwing a lot of sliders. Well, throughout his short career, that is what he's crushed. He has really struggled this season, but we'll see how it kind of turns out for him. Batted ball profile wise, he's in a great spot today. McKenna's cheap. Springer, Hayes. I mean, Baltimore, Toronto, like I said, really like that just game in general today. So I'm looking at a lot of those outfielders. Slater hitting leadoff against Madison Bumgarner. Joey Bart in the lineup. Let's go. Yeah, man, I'm excited about Joey Bart today. 2,700 with that power against Madison Bumgarner. Let's go.
Yeah, AC Slater leading off there for the Giants. Flores, historical lefty master bat in second. Belt third. Davis fourth. Who's Davis? Who's Davis on San Francisco?
JD Davis.
JD Davis. Okay, yeah, I couldn't think of that for some reason. Duh.
Was in the what was the move that just happened?
He was just swapped with the Mets for Darren Ruff.
Yeah, it was rough.
And he's also going to get kicked out of this game in like the 5th inning.
Still playing him at 2,800.
Yeah, Longoria, Yaz, Estrada, Bart, and Gonzalez batting 9th. I see some questions here in chat. Chop, how do you feel about the Dodgers stack?
They're the Dodgers, so they always have that potential. But just as a stack, this doesn't jump out to me. First of all, you'd have to get through Freddie Peralta and put a big number up on him. How big of a number can you put up on Peralta before you get to a bullpen that's actually pretty good? And so you should see, they should stop the bleeding even if he's getting beat. They should stop the bleeding with some pretty good arms. So your path here would have to be like you just run it up on Peralta so much in the first few innings that you get the bad part of the bullpen. I don't like stacks like that. So I won't have a Dodger stack. That's just my opinion.
Stevie, I think you were talking about, I see Don Yeezy in chat asking about Joey Meneses. You like him, right?
Yeah, I mean, very small sample size, but he's shown power, so I have no issues with him today.
All right, knocking on the door for crunch time very shortly. We're going to have Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth. We're going to have Dave Potts, who I believe is one of his favorite teams today was the Dodgers. So you're going to hear some more positive talk about the Dodgers in a second, or more so than Chop gave. But I understand.
I'm with Chop, by the way. I stack the Dodgers more than anybody. I think this is a spot I'm going to stay away from the Dodgers today. So
you're against Dave Potts, 2-time millionaire winner?
Listen, me and Cheese agree a lot of the time. We have a lot of same baseball thoughts most of the time. But I'm with Chop on this one. I don't like the Dodgers today. Right
on cue. Dave Potts, Cheese's ears are whistling. Dave, what's up, Dave? The besmirching. These guys don't like the Dodgers for some reason, like to hit home runs. That's just all they do, like the best team in baseball.
It is all they do. I just feel like we should have who looks more alike, you and this other guy, or me and Squirrel. It's like these two and these two. Like we've all got our own theme going on. We all look great. But especially you guys.
What do you think of what's going on Chop's face there, Dave? You liking it?
I love it. I actually recently hired that guy to do some investigative work on my behalf.
You saw Magnum PI 2 right away, didn't you?
Oh yeah. We flew him in on the helicopter, and he's getting after it.
Magnum PI was a Detroit Tiger fan. I think did it take place in Detroit? I don't know, but he wore a Tigers hat. Hey Roth, just a spoiler for you. I know you're way behind. You're watching Better Call Saul. Where are you at, by the way? Where are you at in the watch?
I'm accelerating quickly, maybe halfway through season 2.
Okay, so tonight is the series finale. Stay off Twitter. Do not. Maybe you might want to block Kirk D's. Kirkwood has this thing where he enjoys spoiling it for people.
What an ass!
It's a weird fetish.
Yeah.
But you might want to mute him or mute some words. Just be warned. If you want to avoid spoilers, it's probably going to go down.
Good news. I don't follow Kirk on Twitter anyways. So I think no, I might. I don't know. I will make sure not to check the Twitter. That is good advice. Thank you. By the way, Kirk, I love you. I'm messing with you.
What's up, Squirrel? Did we win any live final seats over the weekend? Or are we still at 4-4?
Yeah, still 4-4. Can't be every night, unfortunately. Actually, I think FanDuel stopped. I think FanDuel's ended on Friday. So no opportunity to win.
Boys, Stevie, Chop, you got anything for the guys before we step aside and get out of here and let them knock out the crunch time for the people?
Let's go Baltimore.
Well, no. Did you have a question?
Oh no, I mean, I like these guys. I'm excited to get off the show. I can't, we had to deal with you for an hour and a half, but I mean, Roth's cool, Squirrel's the man, and Cheese is the GOAT. So I mean, yeah, we're all good with those guys.
Goat Cheese.
He's right about all of that. By the way, hey, congrats, Stevie, about your the promotion. Well deserved, bud. Happy for you.
Thanks, man.
Kirkwood's a little upset in chat.
He always is talking shit about weather, to be fair. So yeah, it's coming back.
He's got his weather model that's in the
exactly
years in development.
Coming back out.
You might want to call the lawyers preemptively, just in case. You never really know who he's got brewing over there. Chop, you got anything else with the boys? We're getting out of here.
Yeah, I think we should turn it over to him now.
All right. On behalf of myself, Wario, and Stevie, do appreciate y'all watching the first half of I guess first 2/3, 3/4? What's the math here? Doesn't matter. The first part of Grinders Live, we're going to hand it off Crunch Time, the Fanduel sponsor Crunch Time with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Roth, Dave Potts, Squirrel Patrol starts now.
Excellent stuff. As always, Dino. And yes, this is the moment you've been waiting for. It is indeed. It's Crunch Time, and it is sponsored by FanDuel. And the best thing FanDuel's got going right now is the FanDuel Single Entry Series. It is back. $50K in bonus cash up for grabs. It's the 4th week. So got to give a shout out to the winners from previous weeks here. Last week was a doubleheader. So here are the weekly winners up to this point. Juice Man, Bad Bill 65, Brew City Empire. I recognize that name. I think he follows me on Twitter and asks a lot of weather questions, so I like him. And then Spartan's Glory. Those are our current winners up to this point. Top 4 scores each week count towards your combined score. Players with the highest combined score each series get paid on top of it's basically payouts on top of payouts on top of payouts. And the top finisher in each series gets an all expenses paid trip to the Single Entry Series Championship in Chicago, September 9th. Shot at the $10,000 grand prize. Bottom line is it's not too late to get into this and get in on that grand prize. A couple guys who I think can help you in that endeavor. 2 of the sharpest minds in the biz. 1, Dave Potts, Mr. Cheeseisgood. What up, Cheese?
Howdy, howdy. Happy Monday. This is a wonderfully glorious slate. There's stuff to love just everywhere. I like it when you can spread out and love it all. It's not. Sometimes we're spreading out because everything sucks, and this is the opposite of that.
Okay. And really at the end, it's the same thing. It doesn't matter all that much, right?
Yeah. We all have good lineups together or we all have bad lineups together, and we still got to beat somebody else's similarly styled lineup.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'm excited. At least I guess it's more fun this way, though.
Yeah, I'd rather like my lineups than dislike. Right? Regardless, if I'm going to finish, I can finish in the same spot. I'd rather finish in the same spot with the lineup that I like.
Sure, that makes sense. We've got Squirrel as well. Live final maestro, even I would say. Yeah, the live final maestro. Squirrel, how you doing, man?
It is good. I think I'm a little bit less enthused about the slate. But I think it's still.
Now I like it even more. Because now there's one less guy that has good lineups.
Yes.
You knock out Squirrel's lineups all being trash, and now everyone moves up a little bit.
Yeah,
Why are you less enthused?
Very spread out. It's like there's nothing to love. Whereas there's a few things I really don't like, so I'm just gonna not play those things that I don't like. But everything else, I'm not gonna play the Angels stack if I can't play Otani. But It's just, I don't know. There's nothing I love, but I think that's
I'm
okay.
just a more optimistic person than Squirrel. Like I just see the bright side of life, and Squirrel is the glass half empty. Apparently,
I hear you both saying the same thing, and one's happy about it, and one's not. That's what I think is happening here.
This slate is a half empty glass.
Okay,
it's a half full glass, like we say. Yeah, like we agree.
Wow, it's just wonderful. We can't end it on a better note than that. We do have to talk some weather here. Is really the only game is Cleveland on the slate or no?
No, don't worry about that one.
Great. So the only game I'm actually worried about is Atlanta. And I do think there's a shot for a delay in Atlanta. So how important are pitchers in Atlanta? Cheese, let me know.
Yeah, he's kind of it's a Spencer Strider, which on this slate is really just kind of a tournament long shot. I mean, he's not a leftover because he is good, but he's not actually like one of the core plays. He's not like a cash game play or anything like that.
I feel like the last time there was a weather delay with Spencer Strider, the delay came in like the 7th inning instead of the 5th. And he struck out like 12 dudes in 5 innings. And I got murdered on Twitter for being like,
for being right.
20, for being like 20 minutes off.
And because he was so good, the game went fast enough to get them through the innings. Like because he was 3 pitches trying to sit down.
So his name just like brings up a little of that. But I do think that basically in Atlanta, there's just some pop-up showers and storms. They're moving pretty quick, but there is a delay essentially at any point in Atlanta. I don't think it's very likely that we're looking at a long delay. I think it's more likely you get a pop-up storm. It's there. It's gone. They're back out playing. But if you get 2 storms back-to-back, then it certainly could be a long delay. So just something to keep in mind. If it's not the cash play, stick with it or maybe lower your ownership a little bit. But I don't think it's a huge issue. And outside of that, I don't really think any weather issues are very likely. So that's where I'm at. And now I want to know where you gentlemen are at. And Cheese, if you don't mind kind of walking us through what you're looking at as a slate in general, or you can just get into pitchers now since you kind of gave me you already like it all.
Yeah. I mean, as a slate in general, like we'll talk about this handful of great pitchers. So basically those are the few offenses you don't play is against those guys. And then pretty much everything else is very likable. So yeah, we'll sort it out. Sort it out that way by pitching first. So the only thing anywhere on this slate that's definitely going to be chalky is Garrett Cole. I love Garrett Cole. He's great. He projects ridiculously better than everyone else. Like I don't quite agree with him being like just so much better. Like you can't possibly fade him.
Jeez, he's got no tags. He's got no tags.
It's very weird. Like we were all thinking the same thing. Like, okay, on FanDuel, he's $11,000 and everyone's going to play him. So let's not call him a conviction play.
But what if everyone thinks that and no one plays him?
Well, then you're saying I don't believe projections and or projected ownership. Like so many people play based off projections. Which would make it impossible not to play Cole. Like if you believe in projections and you don't play Cole, then you don't believe in projections.
Okay.
Like, it's really
so Derek Hardy is salivating over Cole right now.
Yes. Like the bat has him 10 points above the next closest guy. Okay. It's truly you can't say you believe in projections and fade Cole. Gotcha. And so the ownership is going to go that way.
Okay.
So where it gets interesting is Shohei Otani and Luis Castillo are essentially Castillo is actually more expensive on FanDuel, which is bizarre, and I don't really approve of it. Like you play him to be different, but it's not like he's unowned either. And Otani is $1,000 less. It's totally different on DK, where it's really easy to get Cole and Otani together. My lean is that I don't think he's that much better than either of these guys. To me, it's close enough to a 3-way tie that with what the ownership shows, I just officially like Otani the best. That is assuming that it really is like 3 times the ownership for Cole. On DK, I'm playing mostly just Cole and Otani. Like it's too easy not to, and it's kind of like you're being silly. Right.
You get 10 strikeouts from both guys.
Right.
Yeah, why not?
On FanDuel, that $1,000 to get down to Otani is extremely useful. Like I'm finding I can bake almost any lineup I want with Otani, and I can't do it quite with Cole. Like that's why he doesn't have all the tags. But see, everyone's seeing the same ownership number and saying, yeah, it's Garrett Cole, but if he's really going to be that high owned, cut it out, right? On a one pitcher site for an 11K pitcher. Mm-hmm. Personally, I'm on Otani on FanDuel, and that's just what I'm doing. It's much more interesting on DK where we've got Alex Cobb at $7,000. I think that just like he's too cheap for sure. And I think Cole Cobb is the chalk combo. Like we're showing Castillo and Otani maybe slightly higher in ownership. I actually think Cobb will be the second highest owned. If you need that salary in cash, I think Cole Cobb is probably the best cash combo. The Cobb cash combo, Cole. But this just makes me like Otani more again. And it makes me like Castillo a little more on DK. He's not sneaky. There's nothing sneaky about any of it. But again, Cole is like twice as owned, which is too much. And then also, we're still not nearly done. We got the Spencer Strider thing, and we've got Josiah Gray, Joe Ryan, Marcus Strowman, who I quite like all of them.
Is this only on DK for you?
Yeah. So the way the FanDuel pricing is, Strowman at 84 made it into a couple lineups, but like all these other guys, they're like 9K and Otani's only 10K. So if you don't believe in Otani as much as me, then, you might play Cobb or Josiah Gray. But I would rather just pay 10K for Otani. So all the cheaper stuff to me is DK. And again, Alex Cobb is very clearly the best choice of those cheaper guys. And I think will probably be chalkier than our numbers show. Like I think he gets a lot more ownership than Gray, Ryan, and Strowman.
Okay. Geez, is it crazy that I think on FanDuel, those top three pitchers, which is what Cole, Otani, Castillo, are all going to come in at the same ownership? Am I insane for?
I would think
I see these
if
tags,
Castillo will not. Otani might because of the price difference,
right?
But like again, most people, I say most, I don't know what most people do. Most lineups, because of how many of the lineups are 150 people, most lineups are just so projections based that there's no you can't not get Cole.
Sure. Single entry. They're all going to be evenly owned. All those tags matter to people. Like when I build lineups, I look at the fact that Castillo has 3 little rainbows, and I'm like, that dude, that's the play. He's going to come in higher owned than people think because people trust our experts.
It'll be interesting to see. I don't think it'll happen on FanDuel. DK, yes, but not on FanDuel.
Okay, all right. Squirrel, this pitcher slate is already fascinating. I already like this slate. I'm leading with Cheese on this is a great slate, and against you with the half glass empty. Tell me what you're planning on doing at pitcher here.
I like Garrett Cole. I mean, I like projections, so I like Garrett Cole. I'm probably going to be at the field, or maybe even a little bit over the field on Garrett Cole. Particularly in like the more expensive tournaments. So I think he's got really good strikeout upside. Tampa, he's been striking out more recently. So yeah, I think it's Cole and then Otani and then Luis Castillo. I'll probably have them at somewhat around the same ownership on FanDuel, like you said, because I think I think the pricing's just about right there, and I'd rather try to find like cheaper bats and not like screw up with my pitchers. If I am like going away from those 3 guys, like Josiah Gray, Urias, I like a little bit of Spencer Strider, but that's I guess there's a little bit of a weather concern there as well. I'm not as high on Alex Cobb just because I'd rather try to find like a cheaper bat, and he doesn't have like great upside in my mind. Then there's a handful of guys like you can play Glenn Otto. He's super cheap on DraftKings. He's got a good matchup against Oakland. so like, sprinkle them in if you're playing like 150 or like a large amount of entries. Marcus Strowman, like the Nationals lineup is not as great now, post trade deadline, unfortunately. You can play a little bit of Joe Ryan and Kikuchi, but I'm really going to be focusing probably on the three top guys: Cole, Otani, Castillo. I guess like the next guy for upside is Josiah Gray.
Okay, excellent. I feel like I know where we stand here on pitchers, and I like it. So let's talk about some of the bats and some of the stacks. And Squirrel, I would love you to lead off this segment. What is there chalk, and what do you like?
There's not a whole lot of chalk. Maybe like Minnesota is probably the chalkiest, and I don't
That's
love
ugly
the
chalk, right?
What is that?
That's ugly chalk. Minnesota. I don't think that's common chalk.
Yeah. So, but yeah, things are pretty spread out on the slate. So I don't think like Minnesota is going to be super heavily owned, but I feel like they're just almost like every other team. So I'm probably going to be under the field if the field is like playing Minnesota as chalk, because I don't think there's anything to love there. But I might just be a glass half empty kind of guy. I'm basically, I think you can
Negative
chop off, like,
Nancy Squirrel.
Yeah.
Go on.
It's working for him, but sure. Yeah.
I think you can chop off like the bottom 6 teams or so, and then after that, like almost everything has about the same chances of success. It's like the teams I like probably are Atlanta, maybe the Dodgers, some Yankees. Like I'm looking for teams with power as always. Like a team where if I'm picking 4 or 5 guys from the team, I'm getting a handful of guys that can hit 2 home runs, and that one of them is likely to hit a home run, and hopefully there's other of those same guys on base. I think Texas is going to be a little bit popular, but like they're not necessarily a lineup I'd love to stack like 5 of. More like there's maybe 3 guys like Corey Seager, Semien, and Adolis Garcia that I'd want to play. So I don't necessarily love like the 5-man stack there. And then San Francisco's got kind of a high implied run total, and the lineup just came out. I don't love them though because of like the pinch hit risk. Like they're just constantly pinch hitting for their guys, and they're like pinch hit for like the number 4 hitter, for the number one hitter
In the 4th inning. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough to put them into a lineup and feel confident about it if you're only confident you're going to get like 2 at bats from some of your guys.
Okay. Cheese, what do you like?
So I would say there's just no chalk. Like you do not even have to consider ownership in anything you're building. That's my opinion on the hitting side. It's very spread out. There'll be a couple guys here or there. Officially, I'm going to say that my favorite stack, I'm trying to come up with if I actually have
You're
one,
thinking of it now?
They're all so close. It's the Dodgers because they're so high priced that's the one no one's going to play a full 5-man stack. You can play almost anyone you want except the top 5 Dodgers in a row. So that's
okay. And was it Dean or was it the Dodgers? When he was like, people don't want to play the Dodgers because all they do is hit home runs. Like,
yeah, all they do is be the best team in the league.
Right.
But it's the pricing and the way their team is spread out. If they were chalk, I wouldn't have so much interest. But I like a lot of things. It's more individual bats though than stacks. Like most of the best teams to me, like I like 2 or 3 bats. So it's more position by position and then full stacks.
Gotcha. Okay. Any other like teams you want to throw out? I feel like you didn't throw out a lot, but
the Rangers,
Okay.
the Orioles, and the Cubs.
Okay, excellent. I'm sure a lot of people are like stacking those and feel a lot better, hearing you say that.
Super
okay.
exciting teams.
Yeah, right. I mean, Orioles. You said Orioles, right?
Yeah.
Orioles are exciting these days, right?
Yeah, they're sneaky. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, let's talk about what we're going to do position by position. We like to start at the old catcher spot, and Cheese, that is where you come into play. If you like the Orioles, you probably like that. They've got a good catcher these days.
Adley Rutschman. Yeah, there's like 6 really good catchers. Actually, I could go 7 or 8 even. If you have all the money in the world, I would play Wilson Contreras or Will Smith, because like guys like Rutschman, Melendez, Sal Perez, they're pretty expensive too. I'm talking DK, like a catcher.
I was
on
going to say
FanDuel is just
FanDuel
in a stack.
Yeah,
like,
FanDuel.
you really don't need to worry about catcher.
Gotcha.
You do maybe consider Melendez or Contreras, but pretty much it's a DK thing. The cheap guy to me is Gary Sanchez. Yeah, but I do like spending up at catcher. These are good players.
Okay. Squirrel, anything you want to add there?
Yeah, maybe some more value guys. Like you could play Joey Bart. You could play like Travis d'Arnaud, Jonah Heim with Texas, and then Keibert Ruiz with Washington. Actually, I think Washington's deck might be a little bit sneaky. Like I think it's going to be completely unowned, but they have some guys who can hit for power. Like they have Luke Voigt, Nelson Cruz, Joey Meneses, and I think like so you could potentially put like Ruiz in as a 4-man stack, and you're pretty affordably getting a team that has some upside.
Okay, let's go to first, Squirrel.
First base, the guys I like most. They're probably not going to be like too heavily owned. I guess nobody's like that heavily owned, but I like Matt Olson, Pete Alonso with the Mets. I think the Mets are going to be really under-owned because they're facing a high strikeout pitcher like in Spencer Strider, but he hasn't done like particularly like he's had some games, particularly over the last month or so, where he's gotten like blown up. So the Mets are probably getting a power upgrade. So I like the Mets is like a 1% owned stack. And I think Alonso would be like the key piece of that stack. You can play Patrick Wisdom. He's hitting 8th, but he's always going to hit a home run. Facing Josiah Gray, I think Gray will be like a little bit popular as a tournament option. And Wisdom hitting down in the 8th spot is probably going to be way less owned than he would have been otherwise. But he's still going to probably get 3-4 chances to hit a home run. In terms of the cheap guys, like Kansas City with first base is always like an option. Vinny Pasquantino, or we call him like Vinny Salami. He's I think he hit a home run last night or yesterday. So it's 2,100. He's hitting cleanup for Kansas City. They also have Nick Prado, also first base eligible on DraftKings 2,000. And then like Chad Pinder, it's 2,000. He's hitting 5th for Oakland.
I think you've come up with like 3 different names for Pasquantino. Like I think I'm not sure if it's a bit or if you're just really good at accidentally doing it, but I think you've called him like Vinny Linguini, Vinny Salami. You're just throwing Italian foods and you're doing excellent. So I approve and enjoy that. Cheese, what do you like here at I think we're at first. I don't know. I zoned out for a second.
Yeah. He named a lot of good things. Like if there's a chalk spend up, it'll be Vlad. I do think he's probably my favorite guy, but not a necessary spend up. I love Vinny Linguini Salami. He's way too cheap on DK and kind of too cheap on FanDuel. I also like Nate Lowe as the other cheap guy.
Okay, take me to second.
So FanDuel finally raised Max Muncy's price after he hit. When people thought he was no good, he's hit like 42 home runs in the last week. So they've raised his price finally, but then they cut Marcus Semien back to 24, like to keep like there's that one just way too cheap second baseman, but now it's Semien instead of Muncy. In cash games, you pretty much just have to play Semien on FanDuel. In tournaments, I prefer Muncy and Torres. On DK, I like Michael Massey for minimum salary, and I like Ramon Urias for the Orioles batting 5th for 3K.
Squirrel.
Sorry, where are we? We're second.
I don't know. Maybe it was Cheese's turn to bring us to second. I don't know. I lost track.
Second base. So yeah, Marcus Semien probably going to be popular, but I like Semien. I like Semien and Seager, but not necessarily when they're chalk. So like pivots, I'd be looking at like Gleyber Torres. So I think the Yankees are a good stack. Michael Massey for 2,000 on DraftKings is pretty appealing. If you're playing the Baltimore stack, Urias. Christopher Morel with the Cubs is another guy. He's hitting 9th. There's no real reason for him to be hitting 9th. He's got power. I don't know what's going on with that lineup, but if it like suppresses ownership, that's great for us. Similarly, hitting in the 8th spot, like Vaughn Grissom for Atlanta. I really like the Atlanta stack. I think they've probably got the most upside on the slate, but people aren't going to want to pick on Carlos Carrasco, so they're going to see pretty small ownership. Yeah, a lot of good value plays with second base.
Okay, take me to third.
Third base, I like Austin Riley, Bobby Witt. I don't think they're going to be tremendously highly owned. Patrick Wisdom also third base eligible. Evan Longoria with the Giants, he's probably the Giant I like the best. But like they'll even like pinch hit for him, so it's just frustrating. Like you're sitting there watching like one of the last games of the night on San Francisco game, and like you've got one guy coming up, they can like put you up the tournament, and they pinch hit for him. Yeah. But at some point they're just going to have great like first 6 innings, and it won't matter that they pinch hit for everybody. In terms of the value guys, Zach McKinstry had a pretty good game. I think he had like 3 doubles yesterday. But yeah, it's 2,000 for the Cubs. Jonah Bride with Oakland, another 2,000 guy on DraftKings. And JD Davis, like he's only 2,800. He'll probably be pinch hit for again, but with the Giants. But I do think if you're gonna take someone and they're gonna get pinch hit for, at least take like a cheaper guy that'll probably get a few at bats.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Cheese.
Yeah, everyone he named, Josh Donaldson on FanDuel is too cheap at 25. And then Matt Chapman's the other guy I like a good bit.
Okay, that was quick. Okay, then take us to shortstop.
I don't want to run out of time. We're getting quick there. So
we're doing all right, but
yeah, we're fine. It's the same old group of just fantastic shortstops that we see every day. Such a good position. I would go Seager, Correa, and Bichette as my 3 favorite. But if you prefer Trey Turner and Dansby Swanson and Bobby Witt or Lindor, like these guys are all fantastic. But that's the 3 I want to prioritize: Seager, Correa, Bichette.
Okay. Squirrel, short.
Yeah, I think it's Seager. Semien is shortstop eligible on DraftKings. I like Dansby Swanson because nobody's going to be playing the Braves. They're really expensive. Like they have some value backs you can stick in to make the stack work. Trey Turner with the Dodgers, another guy, is super expensive, so he's probably going to have a little bit lower ownership. But like him, there's a lot of ways he can put up points. So that's something I always look for. CJ Abrams is super cheap. He's 2,100. He's one of the top prospects in baseball. He's like one of the centerpieces of the Juan Soto trade for the Nationals. So he's a guy I'd look at in the 7th spot. I think like if he gets on, they're going to have him steal a base to try to like get people excited, right? And like make the prospects look good. So
sure.
CJ Abrams for a value play.
Oh, I absolutely freaking love that narrative. That's wonderful. All right. Take me to the outfield, Squirrel.
Outfield, Aaron Judge. I always like playing Aaron Judge if the Yankees aren't super popular, just because he'll go less owned and he hits a home run every day. Acuna, love the Brave stack. The top guy, one of the top guys like Jordan Alvarez, I think will be pretty popular. Let's see, Adolis Garcia with Texas. In terms of value plays, like Nick Pratto with Kansas City. There's certain teams like Kansas City and Washington. Like I don't love them as like I think you need to go overboard with like stacking all 5 guys, but you can put a handful of pretty high upside guys together, like 3 guys that are below 3,000 that can all hit home runs. Brad Miller, the Texas stack, and like Yadiel Hernandez is 2,000 hitting cleanup for Washington.
Great. Okay. Cheese, what do you like?
Alvarez and Judge are like the 2 best plays on the slate, on any slate, really. And they'll be popular-ish. I mean, they could even be the 2 highest owned plays on the slate, but that still doesn't make them super high owned. So I want as much Judge and Alvarez as I can get, and Kyle Tucker is 3rd behind them. The other spend-ups are good, but I don't like them as much as those guys. I don't know about these White Sox, man. How are the White Sox so bad? Just every day, it just blows my mind. But theoretically, this matchup looks great for them. Eloy is cheap on FanDuel. AJ Pollock is really cheap on FanDuel. Andrew Vaughn, along with them on DK, are right around 4K. So I'm still playing those guys and just knowing it's probably not going to work again. Also really like Adolis Garcia. Austin Hayes is another cheap-ish guy that I like. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Carolina guy says, and I'm starting here just because we're talking about the outfield, Cheese. FanDuel single entry. I got $3,200. I need a slate breaking outfielder.
FanDuel 32.
Correct.
Is that the number?
But it can't just be a good play. It's got to be a slate breaking.
Yeah. So I won't tell you the guy who hits one home run. I mean, honestly, Eloy Jimenez will be popular. So I'll say Austin Hayes if you want to be different.
Okay. Quick weather update. I think there's a pretty decent shot of a delay in Atlanta. Nothing about that screams definite delay or lengthy delay, but I think there's a pretty decent shot of a delay, and it would be an early delay. I'm looking here. Let's see. This is a 40-minute loop. It would probably be in the first hour and a half of the game, so it would be like an impactful delay to pitchers, and even a short delay is 40 minutes or so. So I'm not saying in tournaments you shouldn't play Strider, right?
Strider. Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't play Spencer Strider, but I am saying there's a legitimate chance that a delay causes some issues there. So that's just worth noting in case you're going 100% Spencer Strider. You may want to try to tone that down. As
if you're doing that, you're
already crazy. Yeah, right. Okay. All right. Let's take a few more QQs. I got to try to tweet that out here. But let me take a couple questions. Scorekeeper says, look, I've been going over builds for 3 hours. I can't get away from Castillo and Otani as my two pitchers in the DK GPP. What are your thoughts on this, Squirrel? Same game. I get it, but they've got awesome upside.
Yeah, there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. And I think that's a good one because I think Garrett Cole will be very highly owned, but all three of those guys have high strikeout upside. I tend to prefer Cole, but I think if I'm going to avoid playing Garrett Cole, then I would play Otani and Castillo together as my next choice.
Okay, excellent. Thank you. Generic, just to say, Cheese, wait, Nelly Cruz can still hit, Kenny? They used to call him the boomstick. Now I think they call him
he is not the boomstick anymore. I mean,
all right, that's good.
He's clearly aging. You would only play him in a full Washington stack.
Okay. DK Cash, Cheese, I'm coming right back to you here. I've got Cole. So do you like which of these three here? Castillo, Bregman, Acuna. God, that sounds good. Or Otani, Chapman, Eloy.
Both good. I would personally play Otani, Chapman, Eloy, but that's extremely close.
But you're high on Otani. You're loving Otani.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. DK Cash, Squirrel, this one to you. Do you prefer Massey to Madrigal?
I think so. I've got Massey pretty highly ranked. So.
Okay. All right. BHB says DK Cash. It's a question for the Cheese and the Cheese alone. The Cheese stands alone. Massey, Acuna, or Seager, Dubon.
I'm not on Braves and Cash. I like the tournament angle because of the ownership, but to me, I would go Seager, Dubon, and Cash.
Okay, great. It's Dubon.
Dubbin.
Jesus, that's terrible. My stepdad used to call it a filet mignon. And that's how it made me feel. FanDuel GPP greatness, Squirrel. Can you leave Bregman off of an Astro stack? Love that question.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
You think it's a good idea? Okay. FanDuel Cash Cheese. Cheese is a two-parter here, and the two parts are not related, but it's NBA DFS. A long-time fan, and he says, "Why is Simeon so cheap on FanDuel? Also, FanDuel Cash, Acuna, Slater, or Alvarez, McKenna."
Yeah, there's no reason he's so cheap. He's too cheap, and you should play him. So read me the question again.
FanDuel Cash, Acuna, Slater, or Alvarez, McKenna.
Gotcha. Alvarez, McKenna.
Okay. All right. FanDuel single entry lightning round. Squirrel. 3,200 left. I need a. Oh no, we did that one. Steve O says, "Hey, for a J stack, Squirrel, are you auto excluding Springer fresh off the IL with that balky elbow? I feel like they're load managing him."
I'm not. I hadn't really thought. I tend to think that if a guy is in the lineup, like he's healthy.
In
That's
baseball,
yeah.
for hitters, we're not talking about a pitcher. We're talking about hitters. You can either swing or you can't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. That seems silly. Steve says, "Hey, geez, I've got Carrasco to be different, but he's in the Atlanta game. I've got the money to pivot to Otani. So should I switch to Otani FanDuel single entry?"
I certainly would. Yeah.
There you go. Cheese already liked Otani more anyways, so that's an easy, right? Straight up, whether not a consideration.
Yeah.
All right. DK Cash, Cheese, coming back to you. Miranda or Urias?
Miranda.
DK Cash, Squirrel, this one to you. There's so many names. It makes me want to puke. I think it's a 4v4. I hate it. All right. Squirrel, you like Cobb with Davis, Seager, Judge, or Otani with Donaldson, Correa, Dubon?
I think the second one. I like Otani more than Wood. Like Judge has a lot of upside, but I think both the offenses are okay.
Okay. All right. Tom says, Cheese, DK Cash, Correa, Alvarez, or Simeon Judge?
Oof. I would Correa Alvarez.
Okay. Aside FanDuel Cash, Squirrel, this one to you. Acuna Matata and Vladdy Daddy, or Judge and reading them their rights with Miranda?
Acuna, what was it? Second?
And Vlad. He puts the nicknames. Okay, yeah, it can be confusing. Cheese, DK Cash, 2 minutes, less than 2 minutes here. Flores, JD Davis, or Massey Donaldson?
Massey Donaldson. Do not play two right-handed giants in Cash.
Cheese, DK Cash, Dubon, Castillo, or Tucker Cobb?
Tucker Cobb for me.
Squirrel, DK Cash, McKenna, Dubon, or Nick Gordon in the outfield?
Go with like Nick Gordon, because like McKenna might get pinch hit for it.
Okay. Raj says, Orioles stack, outfielder and pitcher, Buxton and Cobb, or Adalis and Urias? Do you prefer Cole or Otani?
Buxton and Cobb or Adalis and
I don't know. I just read it. It was typed.
Buxton and Cobb, and Cole is more likely to score more points than Otani. I prefer Otani. I know that's a weird way to say it, but that's what it is.
That's fair. Sunset Night. I like that name, by the way. DK Cash, Squirrel, Alvarez, Dubon, Tecker, all in the same DK Cash lineup. Am I cray-cray?
I would not. I don't think I would do that.
Okay.
I would just spread it out. Like try to spread out your exposure for Cash.
CH says, Cheese, I need a cheapie DK outfield. I only got 2K.
It's weird how many there are. I would say Nick Prado is probably my favorite.
Great.
There's a lot.
Bean or FanDuel GPP 2v2, Squirrel, Isabel Sanchez or McKenna Donaldson?
Isabel Sanchez.
Great. Okay. Prodigy FanDuel single entry, Cheese, Otani Alvarez, Otani with Alvarez and Grisham, or Cobb with Seager and Buxton? I know you're going the first. I don't even have to ask you. You're going the first.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. DKGPP Squirrel. All right. We hit the lock. Cole Otani with an Orioles. Oh, is Cole Otani with an Orioles stack okay in a DKGPP?
Yeah, I think it's absolutely fine because like the Orioles aren't going to be very highly owned. So yeah, like if you're going to play the two top-tier pitchers.
Hell yes. That is my favorite thing. That is exactly what I would do. Orioles are good, better than people think, and that's those are good pitchers. We hit the lock, gentlemen. It's a good job.
You want to know what I think?
I am
Just
very curious to know.
From listening to our show, as I tend to do from an outside perspective looking in, I think Squirrel loves this slate, and he's really seeing the world with rose-colored glasses. He just doesn't understand his own optimism.
Right.
I think he now sees half glass full.
You feel better about it?
I hope I like it at the end of the night.
You will. Squirrel likes everything at the end of the night. So by later you'll be like, oh, I love this slate.
Got another live final ticket and made another 50 grams. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
That'd be nice.
When you are results based and the results are consistently good, then it makes it easy to like things. Maryi Don Yeezy in the YouTube chat. If you're in the YouTube chat and you didn't hit like, what are you doing? Hit the like button. Help us out. This is a free show. You know how many people make you pay for this stuff? Literally everyone else. So hit that like button. Smash the like button for us. Anyway, Mar Yeezy said, great show, Cheese, Squirrel, and Roth.
I love the little squirrel emojis. That just makes me happy every time.
It does. Yeah. It's you got a good nickname. It's a good, you both. Cheese and Squirrel are both, hang on, I did it backwards. Cheese and Squirrel are both excellent nicknames. I'm just Roth.
You're just some guy.
I just have a last name. That's not as cool. Hey, we're going to get out of here. Should I tell a story about how I had to fight a rat at 3 a.m?
Please do.
I had to fight a rat at 3 a.m, Cheese. I woke up, I went to get a water. And to be clear, I do not live in like a shanty. I live in a legitimate home. I do not.
I picture you in a shanty.
Yeah, right. Like I tidy, I clean up. I don't leave food scraps laying around.
Walls and everything.
I have walls. I'm not a pack rat. There's no reason why at 3 a.m, when I went to get a fresh water, that all of a sudden I should come face to face with a giant rat face to face. We did battle. He won. We had a little standoff. But like when you come face to face with a rat, you can't punch it. Like, what do you do? It ran, it tucked away, and now I have a giant rat hiding somewhere in my kitchen. Do you know how terrible that is?
It's still there. So, yeah.
It's still there.
That is the worst, because then you can't not think about it.
I can't not think about it. And I realized we had a plumber like 3 days ago who cut out some drywall to get to like a thing, and we never replaced the drywall. So basically there's like a rat highway. I should have sealed off the rat highway clearly. So now there might be many rats.
If the house is insured, like I know a guy, you just burn that thing down. That's what I would do.
Yeah. Slide into my DMs. Let me know the guy.
And they will absolutely send Chop in to investigate the insurance claim.
And again, we have ended on a high note. That is excellent stuff. So for Cheese and for Squirrel and for our wonderful production crew, always working hard behind the scenes, guys, we appreciate you. We love you. And we will catch you tomorrow. You have been crunched.